and Malphite, in case he's going to be going into full tank build, they already will have picked up quite a few of the armor items, right?
Yes.
They will already build up themselves a little bit with an armor resistance. And now, without the AP damage, how are you looking to bring down the entirety of the enemy team who are just going to be itemizing quite easily against you?
That's a very good question again, because we are looking at the late game possibility in this game, because we are looking at things like Zeri, for example, on the side of Alia Bank team, things that really want to be scaling into the late game. We are looking, to be honest, that's the case in quite many places for them. Even the Renekton and Jace, if early game goes well for them, they really want to be looking into this mid game potential, and Jace is, regardless of how the early game goes for him, is going to be really potent in the mid game. So the question does stand, and we need to see how Alia Bank are going to approach it and how exactly are they going to be killing Orbit Anonymo. I will be looking forward to Adi and to the early game of Alia Bank team, because they have the ways of accelerating their Krok on the top lane and their Jace on the mid lane, and they can play around them a lot. And if they get those two ahead, they can force Orbit Anonymo into early team fights, and Orbit Anonymo might not just be ready for those.
But all of that is theory talking. All of that is just trying to understand what the teams have in mind.
Yeah.
But the reality might be just so different from what we will see shortly. We should be able to bounce ourselves onto the Summoner's Rift. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my huge honor, happiness and privilege to welcome you in the first game of the grand finals of the Samsung Galaxy Season 10 of Ultraliga. It is Alia Bank team versus Orbit Anonymo, and let's go to the Rift!
Let's go, my friend! Oh, I am so happy. The grand finals of the 10th season of Samsung Galaxy Ultraliga are upon us, with Alia Bank team on the blue side, Orbit Anonymo on the right side, with a Comet on the Malphite, by the way. So, additional AP damage there, you know, maybe your dream is going to come true. Especially look at the first item. Look at the Storm Streak.
Oh, that's Storm's
That might just be the AP Malphite, or maybe a little bit mixture of this and that, so, you know, to make everybody happy.
You know, that just makes you excited when you see things like that. So we have already spoken about the two roles that we're going to be paying the closest attention to, which is the mid lane and is the jungle. And let's take a look at our junglers. Both of them, by the looks of it, are going to be starting at the top side of the map. Both of them, by the looks of it, are going to be trying to get themselves towards the bot side of the map as soon as possible. And we have already talked about the heat maps. We have already talked about the fact that a majority of the attention goes towards the bot lane.
Yes.
Right. So my biggest question is how both of these junglers are going to open up with their cards, because whoever going to be sent further, whoever's going to gain that advantage, is going to have so much of a better time when it comes to the mid lane game.
Look at Manny helping out the enemy jungler a little bit. Just, you know, friendly fire or something like that.
Sportsmanship?
But, yes, a little bit, maybe. But there was also a very deep ward from him, which is going to be super helpful for Alia Bank to understand how Zeri is going to move through the jungle, because it is Rumble. You don't really want to be meeting Rumble unprepared, especially on your bot lane where you have Zeri, and Zeri is a very damn squishy champion. She is running with a cleanse. That's what we love to see. By the way, Neriman is not running with any cleanse. He's running with the heal. So this is a very brave Xayah we're seeing there, but again, there is not really too much of the crown control available for Alia Bank team. The problem for Alia Bank team for Orbit Anonymo is going to be a different one. It is going to be the poke and the prolonged team fights that they want to be forcing on Orbit Anonymo, which brings me to the thought, because I'm looking at these conquerors on both Maddox and Adi, and I'm looking at Adi again, and maybe we're not going to see a full assassin Kha'Zix. It can be a possibility. Adi has been pretty flexible with his builds lately, or his junglers. He can go into something with a little bit more mid on him, with something with a little bit more tankiness. So bruiser-ish build on Kha'Zix is something I could see as a possibility for AB in this game.
Especially if we're going to be in a position when Adi will not be able to one-shot people, right? This is something that we already talked about, and we need to sort of continue on that thought, because we still need to see how the early game is going to go for both of these teams, right? Because if you don't, by any chance, going to be able to do anything with the enemy champions, you're not going to be able to one-shot them. You need to be able to sustain yourself in those team fights, and that is something that I'm really interested to see from Adi. In the meantime, a little bit of exchanges here in the bot lane. Level 3 have been picked up a bit earlier by Svensson and Magic, so they are able to land a few very good shots onto the enemy.
Hey, we had the level 2 on Gypsy, we had level 2 on Leona, and she didn't go into the enemies? What is going on? I am ever so slightly disappointed, I guess, Gitty. But okay, that's fine. Yeah, we have the exchanges on the bot lane, and we have junglers around the bot lane right now. Not Severe, because he's actually rotating away from his bot lane and going to find much there in his own jungle. But Adi's around. He's shadowing the mid lane, but nothing is happening there because Royson just recalled a little bit earlier with a very good recall. Doesn't even need to use TP to get back to the lane. Bot lane is looking very juicy though. I am expecting some ganks that could happen there quite quickly, quite soon, because level 3 only for both AD carries, and again, they're really squishy if you jump on them pre-6.
Absolutely so. Interesting pickup of the items. The calls are now already there for both of them, as they're going to try to cash it in as soon as possible to get themselves into that more gold position when you're having more gold than your adversary.
Yep.
Although, by the looks of it, the game is relatively slow. No one is making any big moves as of yet. A little bit of trades coming now and there. Teleports still on both sides of the mid lane, available to both of the players. Wonder what is going to be the first big move that we will see on the map. This Grypciocraft war is in a draw, actually. Both of the teams control the respective sides of the map. It's a bit slow.
Yeah, which is very unusual for the first game in the best of 5 series, right? Usually everybody goes completely nuts in the first game and then everybody slows down after they've realized what the enemy team is bringing up on them. Here, it seems like everybody already knows what everybody has in their slings. You know, no hidden aces in there, so everybody's playing really calm and collecting. But I want to hear your bets, DrBrilmann. Where do you think the first blood is going to be spilled?
It has to be the bot lane, doesn't it?
You think
so? It just has to be the bot lane. Again, if you just look at the past experience that we had in the league by those teams, bot lane is the place where the majority of the attention is just being brought, and by the looks of it, this is going to come true as Severo is here, Manny as well. This is 4-on-4, Chipsy coming in closer together with Nerman. Looking there, and now the first attempt comes in. Adi has to jump out of the pit because he's burning from an ignite. The dragon has been stolen away. And Anonymo will take the first dragon. A bit of a close one, especially for Adi, but he manages to escape with his life.
But that is still unfortunate for IB. Yes, nobody died and Ari is still alive, but they lost the Drake and they almost lost their jungler. The fact that Anonymo were able to close up on them so nicely, the fact that Alior up until the very last moment didn't realize how many of the enemies are going to go on top of them, because if you look at the river, there is no deep vision for AB, so they couldn't really see everybody going their way. They realized that Severe was coming because Mani shot at him quite literally, but they never saw Royson closing up as well.
Might see a continuation though. Adi still didn't back away. Decides to continue to clear his jungle first. And then go for Minimagic stepping forward. Are they looking for a fight here? No, they're not. Not as yet. At the very least, they are not in control of that part of the map. So it would be a bit of a bold decision to try and have a fight there, especially with your jungle being so low. Finally, we're going to see Adi resetting. Coming back with the whip. Are we going to see a gold drink on that Kazakhs?
Quite possibly. Maybe not. I'm having a brain lag and I don't remember the name of the second item that you can build from it. But maybe it's going to be a gold ringer, and we could see 2 gold ringer bearers on the side of AB, because for Renekton it is going to be the same. Speaking of Renekton, by the way, Maddox has been super aggressive there on the top lane, but really haven't looked much on the top lane. It is again an isolated island because nothing really is happening there. Yes, the Prior has been in the hands of Croc, but right after level 6, this is where the dynamic of this duo on the top lane changes quite drastically, because look at Prime. Now he is the one harassing poor Crocodile on the top lane. Now he is the one who really wants to have a nice design back made out of the Crocodile skin because he can afford it right now. He has a lot of damage.
That's an interesting way to put it. Apparently this is what you do against Renekton. You make a bag out of him.
Quite literally, because you make quite some money by killing him.
So that basically makes you a bounty hunter.
Maybe.
Fair enough. Although 8 minutes in, still no first blood. Both of the teams are really testing each other out. The laning phase have not been too kind for the top lane when it comes to Alior Bank team, but it was very kind to them when it comes to the bot lane. Sven's holding a bit of a advantage, 300 gold in his pocket. That's at least one component of an item, so that's at least something. In the meantime, AB are going to use their time that they have created for themselves, the space that they have created for themselves, with Manny being a ranged mid laner as well, and the overall turbulences that we have experiencing in the top lane. They're going to rotate the bot lane here as well to make sure that they have full control of the top side radar as they are taking the Herald. They will pick that one up for themselves, and that is pretty much the exchange of the objectives. If you think about it, the Dragon went into the hands of Orbit Anonymo, and now Herald is in the hands of AB.
But it's a very delayed exchange, because in less than 2 minutes we're going to see the next Drake, and if Orbit Anonymo take this one, they're going to have two really nice early game Drakes in their hands. The Cloud, not so much, but the Hextech Drake is definitely a nice addition to their Dragon Souls collection. I don't know, I'm not as good a sponsor as you know.
Does that basically make them go back in?
That's where I wanted to lead. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. You always have my back.
Yeah, in that particular regard, I definitely do.
Thank you.
I am, after all, the pop culture connoisseur.
Exactly. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Let's get back to the game. There is still not much happening apart from that Herald that was taken by Adi. Where is he going to release it? It looks like that is going to be a nice Herald somewhere maybe around the mid lane, because the time for the Dragon is ticking. It's almost a minute right now until it's going to spawn. And Alibank already have the pride on the mid lane thanks to Mali, thanks to the fact that he's harassing Rosen quite a lot with his range. IB can try to push it a little bit further, release the Herald there, make sure the mid lane is completely in their control, maybe even get the turret plays from the turret and rotate immediately to the Herald with all the forces with them.
One of the oldest tricks in the books.
Exactly.
We have seen it so many times already. And if they execute it here right now, that will allow them to try to push for that Drake. However, let's not forget that Orbit Anonymo had a very good answer in the previous Drake. They do have a Malphite together with Rumble on your team, which is a great combination of ultimates.
Yes.
You knock people up in the air, and then you drop down the equalizer to maximize the amount of damage that you will bring to your enemies, which is something really important when it comes to those objective fights. We might see one happen just now, but Adi is right now at the top side of the map. Severa, on the other hand, is around that bot lane, so if he wants, he can try to push for it since they have the prio to do so. Let's see if they will actually push for it. They can, because mana is almost out of mana. He'll need to invest a teleport in order to get back here.
Yeah. That's very unfortunate time for Alibank, actually. They couldn't do anything, even with the fact that they still have Herald in their pockets. They wanted to do something on the top lane. This is the change of plans for them. Maybe they can try to get onto Prime. This has been the Prime for quite many teams playing against Orbit Anonymo to get Prime out of his lane as soon as much as possible. Will Adi be the one to do that as well?
Might be. Let's not forget that killing Jax is not the easiest of the tasks, especially because of that counter-strike that you need to try to work around. For now, no, he actually decides to recall back. Decides to not invest his Herald into the top lane. They decide to let Matix deal with his problems on his own. And maybe now is the time to release it in the bot lane, because releasing it in the mid lane at this current moment doesn't really seem to be like the greatest ever idea, and you're going to get spotted in the process as well, because if you see those 3 quite deep wards from Orbit Anonymo. However, AB pretty much had the advantage all the time when he came. Oh, actually, wait, hold that thought. Dominus has been propped. Prime goes for the first blood. That's a solo bolo just right there. Very good gameplay coming here for Prime.
Oh, that's the typical Prime for you, to be fair. He just comes in and he secures the first blood. And again, this is Jax. He doesn't have any item completed yet, but he's hitting on the shin, and that is already more than enough for him to feel completely in power and very powerful against Renekton specifically. Adi made his choice to not go into the top lane, to not shut down Prime, and Prime feeling something maybe because he was not approaching Adi whatsoever when he was there, decided to go and secure, seize the moment pretty much. There is the Herald on the bottom right now, having a little boink in the turret, but it's a very small boink.
Only 88 gold went respectively into the pockets of Svens and Adi. Not exactly the biggest one. In the meantime, here comes the double of the ultimates, and that is pretty much an easy pickup for Orbit Anonymo. The combination of the ultimates that we've just been talking about when it comes to the fight for the objectives really pays off in that gank.
Orbit Anonymo doing exactly what you predicted them to do, using both of their strongest ultimates for the jungle and mid lane duo to the fullest. Right now, they might even try to get it even further. Maddox doesn't know.
Ooh. Tries to run for his life here. Will be able to do that quite nicely.
Yeah.
Since there's no control yet on the side of Orbit Anonymo.
control is something we need to talk about on the side of Anonymo, because they have a lot of it. They have much more control than what AB have, because AB pretty much need to rely on Minimagic to be the control dealer for the team, while Anonymo have Royson with the ultimate, they have Prime who can jump on somebody and stun them, they have Chipsy who is going to have so much control, and Zaya can help out a little bit too with the roots. So when it comes to fighting around the objectives, yes, AB have the poke, they can outpoke the enemy, but if Anonymo decide to lock onto them and go onto them, the amount of control they have can be really devastating for AB, because we already touched upon that AB do have some squishy targets on their team, unlike Anonymo in this game.
And this is something that really plays into the hands of Anonymo, doesn't it? Because this is the team that we have praised for their team fighting capabilities.
Yes.
We have praised them for the way they approach the team fights, and that really often got themselves from a very, very difficult situations. Now, they are now working exactly with their strongest suit, which is the team fighting capabilities. They have so much control, they have a lot of damage to pair up with that control. And that just brings you to the question of, will they have full control of those team fights? Because do AB have the burst to be able to bring someone down, or maybe even outpoke them, thanks to Jace and thanks to Zeri? Yes, they do.
That's the thing, though. They have both of these things, but they're not really leaning heavily into either of them. So they cannot heavily outpoke Anonymo with, you know, all-in poke. They cannot heavily all-in into them and burst them. Maybe right now they're on Nerman.
Oh, Addy is going to get stunned with the Solar Flare. Equalizer has been dropped down as well, running for his life and burning a little. Feather Storm stun coming in through together with the feathers. It's the brilliant combination as Nerman scores his 300 kills in the Ultraliga.
Congratulations to the 80 carry of Anonymo. That is a nice number to have, isn't it? And that is a very good kill to secure this beautiful number for him. And an important kill for Anonymo as well. Not just it's the first kill for Zaya, who is sitting on her first item, but she needs one more. She needs to get to her in a very quick blitz, as quickly as possible, to completely feel unleashed on this map. But this is a kill onto Adi, onto the jungler of AB, onto the jungler who really needs to be ahead and get his items as well in his pockets. This is the Adi that we unfortunately were being used to seeing in the beginning of the split and in the previous split. Not so much by the end of the split, because he has improved a lot, so we've been talking about it already, but he has this tendency to overstep without enough vision in the enemy jungle.
But then again, it's just the composition that plays out so nicely for Anonymo. They have not allowed Adi to come anywhere near that wall.
Yeah.
To try and actually use the flash in order to escape.
Yeah, the flash or jump or just anything whatsoever. Yeah, exactly.
Now we might see a continuation of that fight. The dragon is on the map. It is going to be an Ocean Soul in this game. AB are first for the party, but it looks like Anonymo are really willing to try to answer for it. The teleport coming in through. Solar Flare is going to be dropped down, but doesn't really find anyone, as Man is going to get stunned and thrown away in a second. Royson in there with the Feather Storm, but here comes the Magnet Storm from Minimagic. No continuation whatsoever. It was brilliant, but it didn't help at all as Prime flashes forward. Goredrinker to keep Adi alive, jumps away too with the smite, keeps himself still there. Sven's now running for his life, takes a few of the beatings. Prime jumps on top of him. Can they secure it? Yes, they can. Sven takes the first kill. But the kill out of desperation as they were running away from Anonymo.
It was the kill that almost got turned into a double kill from the other side of the map, and right now that's going to be also the Drake for the other side of the map. For AB, it didn't look like they were even ready to take this fight at the Drake pit, which is unusual, because they were the first ones to be at the pit. They were the first ones to be at the river. They have put a little bit of vision around them, but they were not ready for the fact that Anonymo were coming on top of them. They were going to clash with all the ultimates available. And when all ultimates are up for them, Rosen is pretty much serving them the, something that we usually see Malachi doing for the teams. He comes in with the ultimate, and for the team that is already gathered at the pit, there is no way out of it anymore.
The setup is just fantastic in this game for Anonymo, and they have been using it to their fullest potential. At the very least, that is the first kill picked up for AB.
Yeah.
And it's also picked up by Zeri. Something you really want to see, because that may just put herself in a bit of a better position. However, she's still falling behind in terms of gold. There's 500 gold difference, and it is in the side of Neriman that is holding us. We're going to see the replay of that and just take a closer look. How many things lined up so perfectly for Anonymo in that team fight?
And how many things went wrong for AB? here and later here in the continuation of this fight. The only thing that was good for them is the fact that they managed to get this kill on their prime, but they're fighting again,
Gypsy might be in trouble. Equalizer has been dropped down again as Addy is in trouble. Goes into invisibility, but he's burning from an ignite. Nerman flashes forward, tries to go for the Feather Storm, but he can't get the kill through. Matix versus Prime is going to be there on the flank maneuver, but Matix rises and dices his way out of the fight. And by the looks of it, AB are looking to disengage. They realize there's no way they can actually have a fight at the current state of the map.
They cannot fight, they should not be fighting. It is unfortunate that they are going to lose this turret on the mid lane, but this is going to be an exchange of turrets, not just a turret loss for them, because just pre this fight happened, the Herald bonked into the turret on the mid lane, and finally it got taken down. So it's at least 1-1 when it comes to the turrets on the mid lane. It is somewhat equalizing the situation for Alia Bank team, but Orbit Anonymo still have more turrets, and even more than that, they still have more control on the map in general. Maybe not right now, because Royson, does he realize how many people are around him?
I am not sure. Goes for a fight. Addy might be looking for Severa here. Just smites it away. The Krogs might be in trouble though. No unstoppable force available for him. Jumps over Royson. Royson is not going to go for a chase here, who probably won't be able to chase down Addy. But they might try to go for a combination together with Severa. Both are going to have their ultimates in 10 seconds, or 5 rather even. Mane teleports himself back to the top lane to get himself into a bit of a safety. But look at that, Rosen and Severa. They are planning an ambush because they know they have that power in their ultimates.
Money knows something. Money feels something. Is he going to step closer?
He's having a Peter Tingle, and yes, unstoppable force with an equalizer. He just works so well for them. Severa's going to pick up a kill for himself. This is a disaster for Alia Bank team in game 1.
You know what it reminds me of? The Malphite Yasuo combination. Because when you see these two in a team, they're always going to be running around together and doing unspeakable things to the enemies. And here it's the same. We don't have Yasuo, but we have Rumble, who deals so damn much damage. And look at the items. Because Malphite still deals a lot of damage.
Hold that thought.
Prime?
Minimagic might be in a bit of trouble. Prime as well, though. Solar Flare to try to catch him up. Didn't exactly go well as of yet. As the chase continues, Magna Storm being used, Minimagic tries to survive. Svens goes into Electric Clash. They can take the kill, and that's an exchange. As Matix teleports himself in to pick up Gypsy, they will be able to lock him down, stun him, and kill him. Another kill donated to Svens, and that's at least somewhat of a fighting back from AB.
That was a little bit too greedy from Orbit Anonymo. They wanted to go a little bit too far into the enemy jungle, into more kills territory, and they lost a lot in the process. But AB are not wasting any seconds.
Teleport coming in through. Royson is about to arrive. Will have his ultimate in less than 10 seconds. The Baron is not falling down fast enough. Severa has his teleport available. This is not going to end well if they're going to keep standing like that. Equalizer drop down. Here comes the unstoppable force onto Manny. Tries to kill him. In the meantime, Addy and Matix versus Prime. Prime is dead, so is Manny. It's 1-for-1. Addy burning away. He's going to get burned in the meantime, as Matix will try to finish him off and manages to do so. Now it's Royson against versus the Vuela, but he won't be able to do anything as Matix just heals himself up with the abilities and with the Gore Drinker. AB stand tall after this fight and able to bring down Orbit Anonymo.
They don't get the Baron, but the Baron doesn't go either of the way, so it's fine. While it's still alive, there's still a second chance for AB to go right back into the pit and try to claim it as their own. For Orbit Anonymo, this was not a good fight. They absolutely had to take it. Unfortunately, there was no way out for them. AB were really brilliant at dragging the fight for Orbit Anonymo where they didn't want to have it. Still, too many people that look at the bot lane for Orbit Anonymo is just leaving the pace right now. They're never going to be able to make it on time. Poor Royson. I just wanted to say before this fight started, Royson does still quite a lot of damage despite going into the tank build, but this is still a tank build. This is still not the damage output that would be able to grant him at least a kill in that exchange.
Definitely so. The Dragon's already on the map. Orbit Anonymo are sitting on the soul point. They might want to try to fight for this if they want to regain control over this map. In the meantime, onto Gypsy, Magnustorm, onto 2. The Equalizer has been dropped down. Quite a good one as Svens has to flash over the wall. Feather Storm to bring so much together with an unstoppable force, but it's an absolute chaos right now. Manny takes so much damage together with Matix as Gypsy just throws himself onto Addy. They won't be able to finish him off. Gypsy runs away with so little HP. He's still alive somehow as Prime steps forward, tries to go for more. Can they? It's Addy versus Svens over the entire wall. Severa is here. Addy looking maybe for a chase here, but Royson is alive and well, able to guard his teammates as they push AB out of the Dragon Pit.
And the Dragon still lives. Look at that. We have this similar situation with the Turbo Jack is here, but the outcome is a little bit... No, it's very different for Alia Bank this time. And for Anonymo too, you know what? It's very different. I take my words back. For Anonymo, they didn't have Royson with them in the beginning of the fight, so the timing to start the fight was brilliant from Alior. But then things didn't really work out for them. The idea is there to get onto Nerman. You can see Alior are heavily focusing this poor Zaya on the side of Anonymo, but right after that, they still need to face a lot of damage coming their way from Severe, and they're not able to kill him quickly enough. That was an interesting choice of abilities there, but okay. But everybody's still having a lot of turns around this dragon. Everybody's still at their river. A lot of vision is available for Anonymo. ABC quite a lot as well. Is it going to be a fight? It is going to be a fight.
Time for round 2. Stun coming in through onto Chipsy. Chipsy running away for his life. And Stubble Force going to go absolutely wild. But it's the soul now confirmed for Anonymo. Are they going to pay for this? Addy might be just stuck in there in this fight, as the rest is just pretty much unraveling everywhere. Addy is already dead, and now OB are on the run. Prime there with the stun connecting, as Anonymo are just scattering all their prey, taking the clean ace, and are about to take the Baron.
Oh, that's a triple kill from Nerman, by the way. Did you see that? The guy is not just getting 300 kills, he's making sure the number is growing in this game quite a lot. Actually, Nerman was a very big factor in this fight. The fact that nobody from AB could get to him or to the dragon. AB didn't really know how to get him to the pit, what to do. They don't get the Drake. This is a soul for Anonymo. They know they can fight immediately. But then nobody stops Nerman. Nobody jumps on him. Nobody kills the guy, and he kills everybody.
Even despite the fact that the combo didn't work
Yeah.
for Royson and Severe, you can see the team fighting potential. Let's take a look at that replay, because you can see it went absolutely into the wild there. Nothing hit. But then the positioning, it feels like that is exactly what screwed over AB in this fight. Because they weren't able to get Nerman. Addy was stuck there fighting both against Nerman and Royson, and then the rest of the team weren't able to push forward.
This is what we're looking at. We're looking at Alior going against the team that is the absolute best team fight in Ultraliga right now. They know how to position a team fight much better than AB, and you could see that exactly very clearly in the previous team fight. AB were really scattered. They didn't know what their clear priorities need to be in this fight, and they lost the dragon, they lost the dragon soul, they lost so many souls to Anonymo. Can they do anything right now with a burn buff in the hands of Anonymo?
What a strong beginning of the series from Anonymo.
Oh, yes.
They are 9,000 gold in the lead. They have the soul point the soul cleanly in their hands. No dragons fell onto the side of Alior, which we were praising for their macro decisions, but now it didn't work for them. Also having the Baron buff in their hands, they have begun the siege. Bot lane is going to be the first one. In the meantime, Prime gets the work done on the mid lane. Bot lane is not going to survive for long. First turret is already falling. The second one is on the run. Yes, AB do have the means to clear off the wave, but will they be able to do it against 4 members of the enemy team plus the Baron buff minions?
The 4 members of the enemy team who can jump on them at any given moment, and even under the turrets, they will survive that. And the thing is, yes, it's 4 members, but are they fighting mini-magic? Are you okay there? Oh, the health is completely gone from the support of AB, and the turret on mid lane, by the way, is gone at the same time as well. This is a wild game for Brillman to open the series.
It is, absolutely. The Baron buff is still in the play, as the bot lane turret is about to fall. Matix pushing away Prime, but doesn't really help. Manny might be in trouble. Flashes away from the unstoppable force. Now they're turn to Rosen. They deal no damage to him whatsoever. The man is an unstoppable mountain. As they're trying to fire off, they're trying to defend their inhibitor. Addy, in the meantime, versus Prime. Prime doesn't pay any attention to the Kazakhs. He's trying to bring down the turret. Not able to do that, though, at the moment. Anonymo are trying to reign in the domain of the enemy as Chipsy throws himself into the fight. Stuns. Matix tries to answer with a few blows of his own equalizer. Gonna do a little bit of a damage, but no, Merriman might have overstepped. Further Storm goes into safety and managed to get out. 2 inhibitors are done for them. Feather Storm with the flash, it's a brilliant combo! Manny is dead, and now it might be the time for the last push. Anonymo will take down the top lane turret. Looking for an inhibitor, can they close the game?
They absolutely can. Look at that. AB are so low on health. They have the base nearby, but can they heal up and go back onto the abyss? Prime says, no, I'm going to go onto them.
First with the flash. Svens has to flash under the fountain to try to stay alive. In the meantime, the Nexus turrets are already falling, and Anonymo are looking to end the first game even before the minute 30 is about to run off. The Nexus is exposed, and yes, they are looking to end this first game in a style.
Orbit Anonymo, the team who were the second place in the previous season of Ultraliga, are coming into this series saying, hey, this time we want to get number one place for ourselves. We want the crown, we want that sweet shiny trophy that is standing there on the stage. And even though it's only 3 of us in the studio today, 5 of us are in our hearts. Orbit Anonymo are taking the first game of the series today.
3 players are present in the studio. I remind you that. Only 3 players out of 5. They are playing from a disadvantaged point, and right now what we see is full control and dominance from that team when it comes to every single team fight, and as it seems, when it comes to the draft. My question is, will they be able to sustain that momentum and keep going?
Hey, don't forget, it's just the first game. It is just the warm-up. We are still up to a beautiful series. Again, fingers crossed, hopefully it's going to be the series of 5. But even if it's not, even if it is, doesn't matter, because right now we are stepping into the dangerous but interesting territory into game number 2. This is where the stakes are high. If Orbit Anonymo take the second game, they're going to be on a beautiful momentum. But if AB take this one, everything is getting so damn exciting.
It's a question how they will pose themselves in the game number 2. It's the question how they will try to find an answer to whatever was going on. And for me, honestly, I'm really excited to see what they will bring up, because we know that their macro decisioning is what brings them to the high point. We see right now that the draft was better from Orbit Anonymo.
Yeah.
Now that means you need to reapproach the draft, and by the looks of it, you need to reapproach the game as well.
Maybe this time we're going to see AB on the red side, because we still have the red side supremacy, and you saw just how much this counter pick meant for Orbit Anonymo's composition in this game. So maybe if AB, because AB lost, so it means they're going to choose the side this time, maybe they go on the red side. Maybe they're going to be the ones to bring in the counter picks for the enemy, or maybe not. What do we know? We'll only find out when we go to the next game, but before that, we're going to go on the short break, and we'll be right back for game number 2 of the Grand Finals of Ultraliga.
I always play jungle.
I am top.
I am mid lane.
I play bot. AD carry.
I am support. No matter your position, stay true to your lane and join Kia at the League of Legends EMEA Championship.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Wow.
Wait, is that a phone? Look at the performance, the graphics. That thing's a gaming machine. A new challenger. Is that Faker? That man's a gaming legend. Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. And here we go!
trying to get by. Quit pulling me closer by pulling me under. Got me losing my mind. You make myself hard to. And I know this can't be right, but I just need some loving, and I'd rather be touching on somebody that I know, so we can both pretend again. Many nights I've let myself go too much, too far.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting ready for game number 2. And game number 1 brought surprises, unexpected turns.
Yep.
New Yasuo Malphite combo that doesn't involve Yasuo in it.
That's a good Yasuo Malphite combo. That's the only one that I want to see in my games from now on.
Malphite Rumble.
Yes.
Who's doing Rumble?
Yes, he's doing like the Yasuo things, but also he's doing the Rumble things, and you don't need Yasuo in this combination. So it's a good Yasuo Malphite combination of Yasuo Malphite.
Fair enough, if you ask me. But just in general, what we witnessed in game number 1 has been, in a certain way, it's been a bit groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Now, what we expected is a bit of a more, I want to say fair fight in a certain way of it. Yeah. Because what we saw is complete dominance of Orbit and Anonymo in every single team fight that we have witnessed. Yeah. Thanks to their resources, thanks to their ultimates, and thanks to the way how well all of these champions have synergized together.
We're coming back to the point that this is the team fighting team. That is a team that is going to draft for the team fights, that is the team that's going to force the team fights when they're ready to face those. And they pretty much played this game by their own book. Yeah. They drafted really strong for the team fights in the mid game. They didn't lose during the laning stage on their lanes. They even got some leads there, some individual leads like on the top lane, for example, full prime. And after that, when they were ready to take those fights and when they could take the fights on their own terms, they would do that.
Exactly. And what we expected from AB is an opportunity, a way, an attempt to match it with the macro decisions. This was something that they have defeated Zero Tenacity on. This was the ground that they have completely dominated in the semi-finals. Here, it's not the case. They have not been able to answer with anything because Orbit Anonymo not only overplayed them in every single team fight, but it felt like they were in control of the entire map.
Yes, and that's the thing that really, I was sad watching Alior Bank's vision, let's put it this way, vision game in this game. Some other aspects too, but the vision to me was a very big part as to why Alior Bank were not really that successful in this game, because they could not predict the movements of Orbit Anonymo. Right. They could not estimate how many people are going to meet them and where they're going to meet them. We could see Adi walking into the enemy jungle, granting the 300 skill to Neriman because he didn't have any vision around. He didn't know how many members of the enemy team are going to be there. We could see their attempts to go into the Drakes over and over to try to get at least one dragon in this team, but never could they do so because never could they understand what the movements of the enemy team were going to be around them. The only time when they won a fight was when they forced it on the mid lane, where they had the vision around them.
Yes, and the thing is, they were forcing those fights. The one that you're referring to, in which Neriman got his 300th kill, they tried to force this fight onto Chipsy. They tried to get themselves further, but they didn't count with the fact that there are going to be more members of the enemy team. Now, if you don't have the vision of where you're about to fight, it is in a certain way quite natural that you might encounter more people in there because of fog of war, right? You are not able to see through that fog. With that being said, in the game number 2, it really feels like we need to see a different approach. Oh, that's actually the fight we've been talking about. We really need to see a different approach from AB if they want to match Orbit Anonymo in that series.
Hey, why stop there? I want to see a different draft from AB. I want to see them to start matching Orbit Anonymo from the very draft. Because in this game, I will be honest with you, the red side was supreme for Orbit Anonymo in this game because they outdrafted Alior Bank quite heavily. We're talking about how they need to be one-shotting the enemy members. We talked about how they can rely on poke, but it's not enough poke for them to heavily lean onto relying fully onto it. And they couldn't choose what exactly they wanted to do in the team fight. The only time when they won a team fight straight on was because they could get onto Neriman, they all in onto Neriman, and that's good, that's fine. But in every single fight after that, they don't know what exactly they want to be doing. And this loss of AB on the battlefield is not something I want to see again in the upcoming games.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we witnessed there is that AB were trying to adapt to the situation, right? With Adi's build, with Matic's build, you could see that they were trying to go for a more sustainable way of conducting those team fights. But then another issue arose, which is they were trying to still go for this, we're going to try to knock Neriman out of the fight as soon as possible. But then your positioning was something that didn't allow you to continue further, right? And that is the team fight. That is the replay that showcases this in the best scenario possible.
Yes.
Since Adi was stuck there against Roizen and Neriman, and the rest of the team wasn't able to push forward.
I can see the idea for them to try to unleash their Kazakhs onto the backline of the enemy, trying to get onto Neriman to one-shot him. But this bug is not going to one-shot anybody because he's Goldringer and he's Conqueror. He's not going for one-shot, he's going for more extended fights, which usually would be understandable. But at this fight, he cannot do either of those things. And because that Orbit Normal gained the momentum with which they can completely turn the fight around. And speaking of momentum, Orbit Normal have it right now. They are going to go into game number 2 with already 1 victory in their pockets, and they only need 2 more to secure the crown and the beautiful shining trophy in the Grand Studio just outside our door.
It's a very strong start from Orbit Anonymo. And that, from a psychological point of view, this is something that I really love to discuss, especially with players, when it comes to the best of 5 series, because the psychological aspect of this is very important. Look at it from Orbit Anonymo's standpoint, right? Let's kind of outline it, you know, from the 2 different baskets. Let's take a look at the Orbit Anonymo basket, right? So, there you go. So, all right, this basket, right?
Thank you,
So, you've scored a victory versus a team that knocked out Zero Tenacity with 3-1.
But he also knocked out Zero Tenacity.
But then a 3-2.
Okay.
And you done it in less than 30 minutes in the grand finals. Well, exactly. You just exactly though. But that's exactly the case. That's exactly the case here. It's just everything comes crashing down because it was less than 30 minutes. Imagine what kind of a morale boost you're having at the moment. And then on the other side of the rift, we've got Alior Bank team. They've lost in less than 30 minutes in the first game. That stings. And what I want to see from Alior Bank right now is this sort of anger up. You know, turn into a proper angry Scottish man when you really want to pick up a fight because you know you can take it. And we know that AB are capable of that. But we need a different draft, a different vision, as you've really nicely put it in there, a different vision from the team and a different approach overall.
Yes, I want to see different AB. This is not going to be a new AB to us. We have already seen this AB in the playoffs, especially when, as you said, they knocked out Zero Tenacity, they were exceptional. And even in their games before that, in the all the games they were before that, they had 1 game, I believe, before they met Zero Tenacity. Somehow the bracket is slipping out of my mind.
3-0 versus Iron Wolves. 3-1 versus Maturalni Forsaken.
Okay, so 2 more series before Zero Tenacity. Yes, so
and
that's a lot.
And then 3-1 versus Zero Tenacity.
That's a lot. And in all of those games, Alior Bank were really damn good and strong. So this is not something unusual for us to see a very strong, very fight-oriented and very win-oriented Alior Bank on the Summoners Reach. So I want to see that Alior Bank back in the game number 2. Yet again, this was just game number 1. We have a full series before us. Maybe it was just a warm-up for them to make sure that they can get on the red side, and when they hop on the red side, this is where they destroy the enemy.
The problem is, with the best of 5 series, is that if you give away 1 game, it's not that big of a deal. If you give away 2 games, that's a big of a deal. Because that means your opponent is just only 1 step closer to closing out the entire series. It's best of 5s because you need to score the 3 victories. Kind of stating the obvious here, but on the other hand, sometimes it feels like we forget about it. Now, you've granted Orbit Anonymo an opportunity to go to the match point and make sure that they are in a position of power. Which means that if you want to continue to go toe-to-toe, you need to steal that victory away. And I'm really interested, you've been pointing it out before, and I'm going to point this out now. I am really interested in the side choice, because we've seen red side supremacy in the majority of the games. In the only series that I remember that we haven't seen the red side superiority or the red side dominance was Alior Bank team versus Zero Tenacity. Since Zero Tenacity, for the most part, have been on the red side, and they have won only 1 game with that. So if AB move themselves to the red side, which they do, as the draft is showcasing to us, we might see a different story.
All right, let's very quickly see what the bans are looking like. Albinom are still going with very direct bans, you know, the Ziggs, the Poppy completely removed from the side of AB, and the Azure from Money. And there is going to be, of course, that Fiora, but also Rel and Kaiser from the side of AB as the bans, because, come on, they cannot allow those on the blue side as the first picks. But Albinom are still going in with a very strong first pick, locking Zaya for themselves for Neremi, has a lot of success on that champion. But there is Rakan, already picked for AB, so the lovebirds are still going to be separated, but this time in a different manner. And look at that, still Chase for AB. They still want to maintain this poke on the mid lane.
There's no Azir, as you've pointed out, it's been banned away. So you need to try to come up with a different way. How do you want to utilize your mid laner? And for Manny, this is very personal. He is not the MVP mid laner of this season. It's Royson, who's the MVP mid laner of the playoffs. He's
not just the mid laner MVP, he's the MVP.
Yeah, he's the MVP.
Exactly.
But I would imagine that Manny would have loved to steal that title away for himself.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, some more picks coming in through. So we have another Rumble and Nautilus this time around. A bit of a different story, but still kind of serves the same purpose. You will be able to lock someone down and then pair it up again with the equalizer. I wonder what AB are going to answer with.
I want to see more engaged from AB, because right now they only have Rakan, and Rakan is a very versatile champion, but ultimately the idea of Rakan is that you want to be going into the enemies, but he cannot go alone because you're still very squishy. I want to see something else, but I love that. I love that a lot as well.
Yes.
I really wanted to see Ezreal for them in the previous game, because if you want to rely on poke, go all in and pick Ezreal for yourself. Right now for AB, this is strong. If they're the first ones at the river, they're not letting anybody get to the objective. If they're the second one, they can out-poke the enemy out of the river. This is good draft.
And that's what we saw in the previous game. For the majority of the time, AB were first around the dragon pit. They were first to swim in the river. Therefore, if you will do exactly the same thing now, you will have much more opportunities to work around with, because of the fact that you will have that poke in your hands. Now, it's the question for me whether we will see more poke, because there's still jungle, there's still top, and yes, Lilia has been banned away, which is a bit unfortunate for me.
The Malphite ban from AB, that is a very respect ban against Royson. But the thing is, we talked about it in the pre-show, you cannot ban against Royson. The man has so many damn picks in his pockets. He's going to pull out anything, maybe even something like, I don't know, Seraphine, for example, or just anything whatsoever. Because I really wonder what the rest of the draft for AB is going to look like, but it looks like they're adding a little bit to that engage.
I feel like they're addressing the problem that they had in the previous game, which is we have lost all the control around objectives. What we're going to do now, with our draft, regain all of the control. Exactly. If you think about it, the samplings, they're going to be a nightmare for you. Pretty much all across the place. Now, Ezreal together with Jace, especially in those later stages of the game, they're going to do you a lot of damage, even to the likes of Nautilus. And I am really interested to see what Anonymo are going to do about that, because they have the top and they have the mid.
But this Aatrox, yes, it's going to be locked in. Aatrox is back in the meta, baby. I'm not sure if I'm happy about it or not, to be fair, but that's a good pick for the top lane. That's a good pick for Prime. However, AB on the red side are still keeping their top lane insecure, so they're going to counter pick Albinom right now. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I would love to see something like Cannon, for example, for AB, though it's not necessarily what's going to suit them. Yes! He locked in the Queen of Poland, the Serpent is back in the game for Royson, baby!
And that's a very strong call right now for Anonymo. They're still keeping themselves to the idea of strong team fighting, as they will be able to sustain themselves, they will be able to deal with the damage, and now it's time to lock up the top or the mid, actually, because we don't know if that Jace is a flex or not, but no, it is going to be Olaf. Formatting, it's not banned.
It's not banned. See, there is one thing that I absolutely love seeing in the pool of Maddox, and this is the very strong lane bullies dominant top laners. And Olaf is all of those things at once. He wants to completely skyrocket the top lane. He wants to out-bully the enemy out of the existence. And I love this for AB, because if they get this Olaf rolling, this is going to be a very good team fighter for them. But if anything goes wrong for him, he's going to struggle against Aatrox in the mid game quite a lot, because Aatrox is going to scale much better than this Olaf.
Absolutely so. But again, it just falls to AB to not lose that part of the early game, because what we've been praising AB for quite a bit is their early game capabilities. Hello there.
Hello.
Gentlemen. These gentlemen are doing the Polish broadcast.
Yes.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
Anyway, back to the point.
Yes.
We've been praising AB for their early game. We've been praising for their capabilities of taking full control in that early game and then pretty much surrounding themselves with resources and with space to work with. What we've seen in the previous game is that they're not able to do this at this current moment or in the game number 1. Right now, they have a lot of those resources in their hands just by default, right? Because of that Jace, because of that Ezreal, because of that Maokai, they have an opportunity to have full control of those skirmishes. In the early game, in the mid game, in the late game, you take it. How will they approach it? That's a whole different story.
Hey, you know what? I'll be looking at Seraphin in this game because Seraphin, as you pointed out, is a big pick for Orbit Anonymo right now. Not just because we know how good Roisin is with Seraphin, but because she's the missing link for the whole team. I would not be surprised if Roisin goes into a full support Seraphin on the mid lane. Even though I prefer the Seraphin that deals the damage in this game, I could see why they would want to sacrifice a little bit of damage. Because what do they need to do ultimately against AB? 2 things, only 2 things, and that's it. The first one is survive the poke damage. And there is going to be a lot of poke damage with Jace and Ezreal in the mid game. That is the a really hard combo to stand against. And Seraphin is going, especially the support Seraphin with like Moonstone, for example, is going to heal them up very nicely.
Yes.
And second thing, after you survive that, you need to decide with the all-in. Are you the ones all-inning or are the enemies all-inning into you if you've survived all the poke that they have to offer to you? Because if they are all-inning into you, it's easy. You throw Encore at them and you stop them on the
and
approach.
You're happy.
If you're all-inning, it's not going to be easy because you're going into things like Maokai, you're going to things like Olaf, who are going to be very happy to meet you, but you still have Seraphin on your backline, who is going to support you quite a lot from there. So Seraphin and Roisin are going to be the key player in this game.
On the other hand, to be frank, you do like to all-in into your enemy at this current moment because you've got Nautilus. That's a very quick way to find one target, blast it out of existence, especially if it's money, or if it's even Ezreal, if you think about it, even if it's Svens. You blast him out of existence because Ezreal cannot outrun the death charge.
Nobody can outrun the death charge.
Exactly. And then you pair it up with an Encore.
Yeah.
If you get 2 targets, that's even better because you can drop down the equalizer. Again, we have the jungle mid duo.
Yeah.
And the 2 ultimates that just combine so well together. Right? It just, of course, it is better to have your opponent running into you with that Seraphine. But that doesn't mean you cannot all in yourself.
Yeah.
Given the amount of resources that Orbit have secured for themselves.
You're not locked in by just one strategy. And at the same time, it's not like what we saw from AB in the previous game where you can go into a lot of things, but you're not going to do efficiently either of these things.
Yeah, jack of all trades a little bit.
Yeah, and that's not really going to be the best for you. But in this game, both these teams are much more balanced compared to the previous game. I love it for AB.
And concentrated.
That's very true. But concentrate. Now, elaborate on your point, please.
They have concentrated on what they want to do and what they do best.
Okay.
Orbit Anonymo have concentrated on the fact that they have team fighted their way to the victory in the previous game. And they decided to stick to the point. Yes, the draft looked a little bit different, but they decided to go, okay, we're just going to stick to it. We're going to do whatever it takes in order to have the best of the team fights.
Yeah.
While A or B, they have concentrated on a different thing. They said, okay, we've lost all the control. What are we going to do? We're going to regain it. Concentration.
I like it. That sounds good. But yeah, I have to agree with you. That is absolutely true. And this game is promising to be much more exciting than the previous one because the previous one was good. I'm not saying it was bad. It was really good. But this game, I think, is going to be much more fair because we have a much more fair draft. And come on, it's game number 2. This is where the things start getting rolling.
It is indeed. Welcome to the Rift of the game number 2. Let's see how the teams are going to approach it. Orbit Anonymo, are they cooking something? Again.
Oh, they are.
Are they cosplaying The Rock? Because it is The Rock who's cooking something.
They are cooking something. They have everybody on the top lane right now. Poor Mike.
They can just...
They can destroy
Run for your
Maddox.
life. Run for your life. Flash forward with the hook roots. That is just an absolute disaster. First blood scored in for Severe of all people.
Oh my god, that makes it even worse than it could have been. That it already is. That is terrible for AB because I briefly touched on this Olaf. I love Olaf on the top lane, but the thing is, Olaf really needs to be ahead. If he's not ahead of Aatrox, if Aatrox is not behind and Olaf is not ahead, this is going to be a bad game for Olaf, a really bad one. Right now, we already have an advantage for Prime on the top lane. This is Aatrox. He's going to be really happy with that, with the additional money, with the additional safety on the top lane. And Olaf has been really set behind. He doesn't have the Ghost to use the Ghost in that exchange.
Exactly.
That is terrible.
I mean, the good thing is that the Ghost doesn't really have that big of a cooldown.
That's true.
Right? The other thing that Anonymo kind of lost in here a little, because they're getting a loss from that exchange, don't get me wrong. But on the other hand, what they lost a little is the tempo.
Yeah, on the bot lane especially.
Exactly. They had to run through the entire map. They have missed a little bit of that experience. I mean, they're living up to it anyway, because Svensson and Naramin are trying to set up the differences. Minimagic, in the meantime, takes quite a bit of a beating, and that trade overall went to Orbit Anonymo. But the tempo is something they're going to need to try to keep up with, and my question is, will they be able to? Because level 2 is going to be scored faster by AB.
They can, that isn't the Leon on the bot lane, but they can still do quite a lot with the Rakan there on the bot lane. And Ezreal, he still provides a lot of poke there. So this is not going to be easy for Orbit Anonymo right now, with them not being ahead and being really far behind, because they still need quite a lot of minions. Okay, right now they have level 2, so it's a little bit easier. But this is not just the bot lane that is looking like that for them. On the mid lane, Rosen is actually suffering quite a lot as well, but do we expect anything else?
I mean, it is the Jace you're standing against, so you have to count with the fact that you're going to get a little bit of that poke into your face.
Fair, that's Seraphine, and Seraphine generally is good into champions with a lot of range because she has a lot of her own range.
True.
But she still suffers a lot. Yeah, but that's still Jace, okay? Early game damage and all that stuff. Yada, exactly.
Again, Prime versus Matix. Again, trying to settle the differences. I feel like this game might be just a tiny bit more fast-paced. I have to see if that's going to be the truth or not. I'm also very locked in on that top lane. Prime in the previous game, he managed to secure himself first blood. Is it going to be that easy against Olaf? Definitely not.
No.
But if he manages to get that 2 times in a row, this is going to be very beneficial for him. Now, Addy, I don't think he really wanted to pick up that fight. He's leveled down, but no, he's able to force Severe out. Flash has been used. Prime in the meantime versus Matix. They're flashing forward and with the root coming in through, but the damage from that Aatrox! Look at this! It's an instant 2 kills! 3 minutes into the game, and in the meantime, the bot lane's having a little bit of a fight too. Minimagic had to flash out. He's burning from an ignite. Naramin had to back off a little as well. Heal has been used. Tense running for his life. Has the flash. He'll jump out with the arcane shift. He's gonna hold on to his flash. Action breaks out everywhere on the map.
The bot lane looked at the top lane, they were like, hey, we want a little bit of that action here too, but the action on the top lane was insane. 3-0 are Orbit Anonymo right now against Alior team. 2 of those kills are on the Rumble, which is very bad and insane already, but there's also a kill on the Aatrox right now. And Prime is going to get to level 6. The moment he gets to level 6, this is going to be game over for Matix. Oh my god, Gypsy!
No way, that hook has connected! Severe is going to take second kill for himself. What is this Nautilus?
What are those heat boxes? Or maybe what is this Gypsy? I don't even know who to blame right now, DrBrilmann, but that was an impossible hook that he landed, bringing his team to 4-0 right now. Even further gold lead for the team. Further lead everywhere on the map. I really wonder if they're going to rotate it to the Drake, because it is spawning right now.
Talking about the momentum.
Oh, yes.
Look at the way how Orbit Anonymo are saying it. Look at the amount of damage of that early Aatrox. I hope we're going to get to take a look at what happened in the mid lane too, because I refuse to believe into that hitbox. I refuse to do that.
Well, it's like it didn't really hit if you look at it, but also it did hit because hitboxes are fun, especially on Nautilus. That's, yeah, exactly, thank you. That's all I have to say about that. But right now, both teams have to say quite a lot because the Drake is already in the map and it's a mountain Drake. And Orbit Anonymo with 4 kills in their pockets can really push.
Oh, Minimagic had to use the ground entrance to hop over the wall. Try to get himself safety. Standing on a wall though, so, you know, very relative safety over there.
A relative, yeah. Because it is very relative right now on the river for AB. Again, they have no vision. They have one single ward and nothing else. They don't see anything on the river. How can they even approach the Drake? Of course, they have to drop it. Unfortunately, for AB, nothing is working for them on the top lane. Nothing is working for them on the bot side of the map right now. The first Drake, again, for Orbit Anonymo.
The good thing is, it is the early game.
That's true.
So that means that the goal difference is not that huge, and the majority of that goal difference lies in the jungle. If you look all across the entire map, the laners are feeling themselves in a relatively stable way.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Severa is now been blasted into an oblivion. He's feeling really comfortable sitting on that stopwatch. I will hold my thought here, as Gypsy might be in a bit of trouble. Knock up in the air from the gun entrance. No, these are just ordinary trades.
No, these supports, having the supports thing going.
Yeah. But one way or the other, the jungle is where the majority of those problems lie. Locking, let's say, Severa on the map is going to be a huge problem. But if you manage to throw at least one of your laners into a better position, this might change the tides of the game, and we might just see that.
Prime. Oh, Prime is walking a little bit too far,
Severa's
maybe.
here. Severa's here. Ward's Ender has been used. Addy knocked up in the air. And here comes the Ragnarok trying to run for his life. Addy uses the minion to try to get out of the equalizer. Does the burning damage, but they won't be able to score any kills. AB with the greats. Disengaged. They might need to run for their lives. There's no healing now available for Matix. Knocked up in the air. Why did you stay underneath that? Sorens, this is a double kill!
No way!
For Orbiter. Oh, they've pushed for it!
They did it again, DrBrilmann! They did it again! They came to the top lane and claimed 2 more kills, split between the top laner and the jungler. And by the way, it's not just any jungler who's getting the kills and getting the money. This is Rumble. And you just saw on the top lane how much damage Rumble deals. Him getting 2 more items, him unlocking his Night Harvest as soon as possible means more damage for the team.
Nariman might be in trouble, uses the Feather Storm to get out of the harm's way. Gypsy's still on the chase, mid laner, so slowly moving in. Root coming in through onto Sven. The heal has been used as well. Flash forward onto Nariman. They're trying to root him down. Oh, gets him! Tries to run for his life. Got an entrance. Saves him from Gypsy. Now, can you finish the job, however? Flash forward with Severa finishing him off. Royzen had to flash away from Manny, who was going underneath the wall. Minimagic falls down in the meantime as well because Severa finished him. Flash another one, and Manny finishes off the kill. North is going to fall as well. That's the first kill for Addy. They have managed to find an answer, and it is exactly what they have been looking for.
Ah, finally a good fight by Alior Bank. Aren't we happy to see that? They fought on the vision, they had the vision in the bush, they had the vision around. They started the fight by killing Nariman, and it looks like killing the Nariman is the opening for AB for winning the fights. For the second game in a row already, they kill Nariman, they suddenly win the whole fight.
And look at that. So now we still have that gold problem in the jungle.
Yeah.
We have a little problem now on the top lane as well.
A little bit.
1,000, yeah. So you've been talking about suffering when it comes to Olaf.
Yeah.
Apparently he's going to visit a little bit of the world of that suffer. But the mid lane. Now, Manny is in the lead. 1,000 is quite a bit of money, especially at this point. Now, fighting for the Drake in the next 2 minutes is going to be a tiny bit easier, because you will have a little bit of that additional poke.
A little bit, maybe even quite a... Oh, you're
There
there, man.
Quickness used, knock up in the air thanks to the ground entrance and the quickness. Here comes Maokai as well. They're going to root him down in place. It's an easy kill for AB.
That's a lot of resources, though. I mean, I understand why you want to invest resources into killing Nariman, but that's, what, 2 ultimates lost? Well, not lost, sorry, used rather, by the side of AB. All right, but can we go back to the mid lane?
Wasted.
Oh man, okay, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Not like it, you know, doesn't happen often, but still, it was good. But coming back to the... Okay, maybe not coming back to the mid lane. Oh my god, they want to do it again!
Oh, if you want to bully out the top laner, do it with style, and for the 4th time in a row by the looks of it. And is here to try to help him out, and he will. Severa will retreat, but look at the amount of gold that Prime has in his pockets right now.
A little bit too much. A little bit too problematic for him to do anything about. They, however, are still stacking more gold for the mid and bot side of the map, because the bot lane is feeling rather good right now. They have a little bit of the gold lead. But again, back to Manny. Finally, we have a brief moment to talk about him. Manny is feeling rather good right now. And the thing is, Royzen doesn't seem to be going into the support build that I anticipated. They want to build him into more of the damage dealer, Royzen. Sorry, Finn, rather. Because they're going with a Lost Chapter right now, which means they want to have some more damaging mythic for him. And this is a problem. This is where him not having enough gold in the mid lane, rather losing in the gold in the mid lane, can become a problem, because his items are going to be much more expensive now when that he's not a support.
And speaking about items, the sheen has been already picked up on it as well. We've talked about that bubble of poke that Orbit and Anonymo are going to be faced with. We talked about the fact that Manny is now in the lead, and now Sven's has the sheen. Fighting for the dragon in the next 10 seconds is going to be very beneficial for them. And now let's see how beneficial actually will be, because we'll have a 3-on-3 skirmish by the looks of it. Addy will have to retreat. Minimagic took a bit of a damage right into his face.
Just a bit.
And let's see how they can step up to it. Roizen is around here. A lot of good vision coming from AB. Can they work around this? This is the question. As Anonymo, they're not really looking to stop the dragon, aren't they?
There is still the ultimate on Maokai. That is the biggest problem right now. As long as Adi is sitting on this ultimate, the approach to the dragons for Anonymo is going to be really hard. Oh, they're releasing the Herald on the bot lane. Look at that. They want to get something. They need to make AB answer to them right now.
And they're trying at the very least. Svens is going to bring down that Herald. Quite a bit of gold went into the pocket of an area in Severo. Adi is here. Manny as well. Are they going to try to go for it? I mean, now, if you were looking for a window to try to bring down the dragon, that window might be just now.
Yeah, it is actually right now. But they're not doing it. They want to have a fight with Orbit Anonymo?
Can they?
Can they? That's the thing.
I mean, to be fair, it is Severo who's 602 and already running around with a Reaper completed for him.
They need to lure Orbit Anonymo into going into the pit. Either as the first ones or to answer AB as they're taking the dragon. They're doing it right now.
Roizen is going to arrive. Ultimate has been dropped down. The roots are not going to find anyone outside of Chipsy. Chipsy's going to be knocked up in the air. Might be even killed here. Equalizer, very well placed, but Sven's out of the way already. Very good spacing with Manny, helping up and finishing the job. Chipsy already dead. Look at that. Orbit and Anonymo need to retreat because they found the answer for that equalizer.
And right now, there is still the poke coming in from AB if they want to throw it on a little bit more. They're at the Drake right now. They don't have the ultimate on Maka anymore, but the teleport is coming in from the top lane, and we're bringing in the big forces.
Both of them. The big guns are about to arrive as Svens and Matix on to the backside of this fight. As Adi tried to step in, gonna go down because of Prime. Still trying to stay alive. John, Minimatch, can you save your top laner? And yes, you can. That's exchange of kills. Both of the top laners are dead. As the ultimate coming in through, not exactly managed to kill anyone, but Gypsy is here. Minimagic saves his jungler with his own body, but Severo cleans up with House, with the godlikeness that he has. And Svens might be the next target. Gypsy is on the chase, but he can't hop over the wall. He can't bring down Svens. It was a close fight, but Orbit Anonymo manages to stand tall.
That was a very close fight indeed, and it could go into absolutely any direction, but it went into the direction of, oh my god, the hook!
Might be in trouble. Root coming in through. Tries to fire away. Not a lot of damage are you able to do with that to that Nautilus, but Neriman so low he can't continue.
Yeah, but that was just a style point from Chipsy to land that hook just because he can't land the hook. But yeah, we are getting the replay. That is really good because again, this is the undecisiveness of Alior Bank team that really worries me for the second game in a row already, because you have really good tools, you have the poke, you have the control against the enemies, but you're not necessarily sure how to use it. They allow Orbit Anonymo to get into the pit. They don't have the ultimate on Adi anymore by that point, and they cannot stop Orbit Anonymo from either taking the Drake or onto having a fight with him afterwards. Sure, they get some kills, and that is a good point for AB. There is some additional money for them, but in the end of the day, it is still Orbit Anonymo who come out of the fight really victorious.
They've stepped onto the very shaky ground here because they're trying to beat Orbit Anonymo in what they do best.
Yes,
team fighting.
exactly.
And it worked for them a few times, that is definitely true. But for how long is it going to work for them?
Yeah.
That's my question, because in the previous fight, we saw that they were trying to find a way, they were trying to find an escape window, but they didn't. Mane tried to flash forward and bring down Nariman, but he was holding on to his Featherstorm up until the very last moment in order to use it and get himself into safety together with the Feathers. Did he manage to do that? Yes. Now Chipsy might have been in trouble with a little bit of damage. Half of HP gone.
Just a little bit, it's not a
Not going to be able to finish him off. No, Trinity Force is completed for Svens, a very important item to pick up, but not yet enough to bring down someone like Nautilus.
No, not enough. He absorbs a lot of damage into himself, helping out his AD carry to stay alive, but may not be for long.
Roots coming in through onto Neriman now. They know he's not having his ultimate. Minimagic hops in there, tries to go into Neriman. Equalizer might be just exactly what they were looking for, because here comes the cavalry. 2 kills picked up right on the place. Orbit Anonymo left them into an ambush.
And Nerman didn't even need the ultimate, he just got it back this very moment. He didn't need to use it, and he had the damage at the same time to deal back to the enemies, because he has completed his Kraken Slay already quite some time ago, which means he deals damage to the enemies who have a lot of health. Like Adi, for example, who's going straight onto them. Another attempt from AB to do something on the map, this time not a team fight.
Svens. I feel he was looking for a solo kill underneath the turret.
Yeah.
But Neriman was forced to use the Featherstorm to very quickly clear the house. So Matix might be, I mean, it is just a slaughter in the top lane. 10:05 is Severo on that rumble. 10:05. He has 100% kill participation in this game.
Yikes! That is... What is that guy doing? He is doing some unspeakable things to the enemies right now. And if you're a fan of Anonymo, to be honest, you quite love seeing that because he's doing good things for his team. He is carrying the team. And we talked a lot about the importance of the jungle matchup in this series, and it is absolutely paying off.
What are they doing now, though? Maybe might be looking for something. Encore is going to go right onto Adi. Adi is trying to find an answer. He's going to get blasted down into oblivion, however. Illuminar needs to retreat. He was looking for a flank maneuver. He's looking for something to try to help out his jungler and his mid laner, but it was way too little too late. Adi falls yet again in this game. Howard summoned in the mid lane. He just looks so promisingly good for Anonymo. Yes, a little bit of a shaker start, but again, 6,000 gold lead at the 17th minute. In a turret already in trouble. Teleport coming in through. Manny is here. Are they looking for some kind of a play here? They can try to work around with the fog of war, but Anonymo already retreating. They're not coming any more deeper into the enemy's territory.
They know their timings. They know their timings and they know how far they can push into the enemies. And that is, again, just Anonymo being such a good team. Not just in the team fight, even though we can see over and over how well they operate their champions in the fight. It is also them understanding their macro really well. How far can we go into the enemies? And, come on, they hook gas and hate from Gypsy, but it doesn't matter because they have so much control. It is, again, for the second game in a row already, you can see how much Anonymo love having their control in the team.
Resourcefulness.
Yes, that's a good word.
That's what they're going for in the draft, and that is paying off for them yet again. Can AB answer it though? Because again, we've talked about the fact that they have those resources, and they still have a very favorable position when it comes to the mid lane and the bot lane, but they need to try to use it. Might be the time to do it. Roots coming in through, not exactly the target we're looking for, as Chipsy has been rooted here. Yes, he is trying to teleport in. Adi might be in so much trouble. Equalizer drop down already. Minimagic trying to run for his life. Maokai already nowhere to be seen. It seems like the Isengard is knocking onto the Forest of Fangorn. As for the 6th time, the tree has fallen. Are we going to look for a fight here? Third dragon falls into the hands of Anonymo. It is the sole point for them. AB yet to find themselves a single dragon. They're looking for a fight here. Might be, yes, Minimagic with the ground entrance straight to 2 with the charm. Chipsy might be in trouble. Manny hops over the wall to try to finish someone off, but he can't, as Chipsy will fall severe and out onto the back lane. Doesn't have, I believe he doesn't have the equalizer. No, he has to run for his life now because he's 1 versus 4. Can he do it, Matix? Oh! No! Shutdown granted. Not in the hands you wanted, though. Manny runs away with the $1,000 check.
Oh, that's a good check to have, especially considering that Anonymo pretty much granted this check to the enemies. They were in the part of the jungle where they didn't have any vision, and in the previous game, I was lacking the vision from AB. In this game, they're really stepping up their game. They see a lot, at least in their own jungle, at least very defensively, but it was enough for them this time to make sure that they can lock down the enemy, who was in a very unfortunate place. And Gypsy, by the way, speaking of unfortunate things, that flash before the death was a very unfortunate one, but, well, that happened. Severe couldn't find anybody, was very close to scoring a kill in return, but unfortunately for him didn't work out, which means right now the momentum for Alior, for Anonymo, sorry, is really lost. After taking the Drake, they could have rotated to the Nashor immediately and secured the grounds around him, try to force it on 20th minute. They cannot do it anymore.
The thing is, they're still in a very good lead.
That's true.
There is 5,000 gold lead that they're sitting on. Prime 2,000 in a lead over his adversary, Matix. I mean, he can try to fight it over, but he probably won't be able to do it. In the meantime, though, we might be having a fight here at the top side of the map. Minimagic with the ground entrance, hops around. Prime, in the meantime, just casually kills the Viking for the 6th time. Matix is not having the time of his life in this game. Prime doesn't have the teleport, though, so it is a fair 4-on-4 fight. Ultimate coming in through with a bit of damage. Minimagic not rooted down. By the looks of it, we might be seeing the execution of the composition that Alior Bank team were looking for. Look at the poke damage. It's finally being delivered. Hex slash over the wall. Minimagic not found there. The tension is rising. Prime still split pushing the bot lane. Roizen almost dead. He has to retreat.
Ooh.
The man has to return and has no flash. So there's no way he will be able to join the fight.
No teleport, yeah, so he cannot rejoin quickly enough. And Alior Bank are still pushing in. If they take this turret on the mid lane, yeah, this is going to be an objective bounty for them, the additional gold. And Anonymo are really in a hot position to try to protect it from the enemies. If they lose this turret, they're not just going to give away some gold for IB, they're also going to lose even further control around the Baron. And right now, everything is about controlling this Baron. Because, yes, 3 dragons on the side of Anonymo, but this is, oh my god, Prime! This is Prime
so
from the
shut
jungle.
down! He got Roizen!
What? How?
I'd love to see a replay of that.
Yeah.
I would love to. And oh, look at the goal difference. It starts to shorten. Can we see more? Svens versus Severo. Now this is a whole different opponent. 11-1-5 Severo is in this game. Teleport coming in through. AB are really looking to keep up with the momentum. Manny is here. Look at the damage already that he's delivering. 3 items completed for him. Are they going to make a Baron coin flip on that?
That's still a little bit risky, but they surely can try. Maddox is on the bot lane into the same time. He has the teleport to come back into the fight.
The poke is now finally paying off for the team as Manny and Svens are able to do a lot of damage onto the enemies. Neriman already half of his HP is gone. Trying to go for more.
They're still healing up quite a lot though, thanks to Roizen. Even though he's full AP, he's still healing a lot, but Maddox on the bot lane has been pushing a lot in the meantime. Can he use that to their advantage? Because they have a lot of vision around the Baron. They absolutely can force this Baron right now, and Obit and Anonymo are still stuck with protecting this turret on the mid lane for as long as possible.
AB are locking their opponents in the mid lane. Top lane is not moving. Both of them have the teleports right now, so the fight will be even right now. The best time window in which you could push for that Baron is now lost.
Yeah.
What you can do instead, retreat, take the... Oh, we're going to see the...
Was it on the base? Oh, it was on the recall.
Brilliant snipe over there.
Poor Roizen.
By all means, what they can do right now, retreat, gather the resources, and get ready for the dragon. If Orbit and Anonymo will take that dragon, it's going to be the soul for them. Is it the most beneficial one? Probably not in the current meta. But it's still so. Picking up those for yourself will be quite great, because you will push away the most important tool that you can grant to your opponent. The Elder Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Which is exactly what Orbit and Anonymo would love, since they love to team fight. Pushing away that Drake will be so great for them, because they will be buying yourself time from Manny and Svens to annihilate your enemy.
Yeah, Minimagic getting a little bit of damage, but to be honest, that was close from Chips. Oh, the tension is rising again. We're in the middle of the mid lane between the two objectives. Whoever wins a team fight right now could take both, but Orbit and Anonymo are not even looking to start a team fight. They're rotating further into the pit. No vision whatsoever is available for AB around the Drake, so it's a good terrain for Orbit and Anonymo to fight on.
Roizen is doing anything he can to sustain his teammate, but their HP bars are just falling inevitably. Addy might be caught away. He had to use the flash. Better be safe than sorry.
Oh yeah.
The Hex Flash channeled in through. Are Orbit and Anonymo pushing for the final initiation? AB are swinging back and forth, not allowing AB to actually start a fight here.
Ari still has the ultimate. Look at that, Makai still has the ultimate. No, but Norma, the one starting.
Drop
the Drake is
down.
going to be locked in there.
Here comes the Equalizer, together with an ultimate from Ezreal. Going to go a bit wild. Chipsy's going to be killed. Minimagic hops over the wall, gets with the quickness, gets at least one. Immune goes Matix, but he will fall down inevitably as Neriman is locked against 2 enemies. Manages to press the E. Manny dead. AB had such a perfect setup in their hands, but it all just falls apart as Orbit and Anonymo take 4 members on the enemy team. Take the soul and looking to take the Baron.
The idea was there, and the ultimate of Makai was there as well. But AB are still trying to force having the team fights with the best team fighting team. I love it that you pointed out a little bit earlier, because that is so true. AB are not fighting on the terrain where they are the strongest. They're fighting with the best team fighting team, and they're forcing team fights. Even with having so much poke on their hands, they lost the Drake, they lost the Soul. Right now they are losing the Baron as well. Might lose Minimagic in the process, but maybe not, because for Orbit Norma this is much more important to recall right now. Get the money used for the good, and then keep the push.
Looking back at that replay, AB had the plan, and you can see the plan worked for them rather well. They locked down Neriman, Svens was in there, they were able to do a lot, but the timing wasn't perfect for them. As Neriman died, he was able to press that E.
Yes,
And that E ruined it for AB. They couldn't do anything. Manny lost half of his HP just rare on the place. And because of that, AB couldn't fight back. Now they need to try to hold on. 6,000 is not the biggest difference at the 25th minute. Still, Manny is sitting on a very good chunk of gold in his favor, completing his 4th item on his way at the very least. With that being said, if they manage to defend the base, all might not be lost yet.
Are they going to defend the base though? That is not going to be easy. They have a lot of poke, they have a lot of wave clear, But Orbit and Anonymo have quite a lot of their own as well. They have Nerman who can go through the lanes very quickly. And the thing is, they have Prime. And Prime is doing the Prime things. He's on the mid lane right now. And AB have to split right now. If they split, they lose both turrets at the same time.
Managed to hold on to one, but the top lane turret has fallen. And the siege started. Here comes the ultimate. Are they looking for a fight 4 versus 5? And by the looks of it, yes they are. Sven's firing away. Further Storm has been forced out. Minimagic's there with the ground engines, but the equalizer is just so good. Matix will fall. Nerman has fallen as well, but Manic cuts away. And Prime just clears the entire house. Sven's, as the last hero of this fight, tried to do at least something, but again, in less than 30 minutes. Again, in a spectacular fashion, and the score of 27-12. Orbit and Anonymo will take the second game of this series and move it to the match point.
The desperate last attempt from Alior Bank team to still protect this game, to still try to save at least there basically something from of their dignity in this game, but nothing worked out for them. Unfortunate timing, unfortunate ultimates, and the face says it all. Yes, if you're a fan of AB right now, this is a tough moment because only one more W is everything that stands between Orbit and Anonymo and the trophy on the stage. And oh my god, are they determined right now to take it?
If you were looking for a wake-up call as Alior Bank team, you need to see it right now. There's no other way you can protect yourself from the fact that Orbit Anonymo just moved the Grand Final series to the match point. There's no more second chances, there's no more throws, there's nothing more you can do. You need to stand up and fight. It was a better game from AB than it was in game number 1. Was it enough? It wasn't.
Hey, I just want to see AB doing something else. Because right now they're forcing the team fight, which is cool, which is fine. You're a good team fighting team, but the enemy team is much better than you are. Do something else. This was already a step forward from them with their draft so much more poke compared to the previous game. Just push it a little bit more further as AB. Just do a little bit more in that direction. Try to get the enemies one by one, split them up, and then maybe we're going to go into the reverse sweep and into the best of 5.
Orbit Anonymo sending the message, and will the message be delivered? It will be determined in game number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, muster your courage. We're about to go on a small break, and then we'll be back for game number 3. Might be the decisive one, or might be just as you pointed out, the reverse sweep. We'll see right after the break.
Play jungle.
I am top.
I am mid lane.
I play bot. AD carry.
I am support. No matter your position, stay true to your lane and join Kia at the League of Legends EMEA Championship.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Wow.
Wait, is that a phone? Look at the performance, the graphics. That thing's a gaming machine. A new challenger. Is that Faker? That man's a gaming legend. Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. And here we go!
peace. I want it, but don't want it to. Sweeter than the truth. Need a release, trying to make peace. I want it, but don't want it to.
When I'm in the room, lights start flashing, bass go boom like when I'm in the room, I get money, I let it fly when I hit the spot, phone blowing up, I don't have time to respond to you on a vibe that's too strong for you. One sip and you're gone. Do you know who I am? I'm a pretty girl with a plan. I can do more than your man ever could, and I make it look really, really hot cause I can. Yes, I'm the boss. If you don't work, get lost. I can put the money, yeah, bumped up the cost. Chest leg cold on frost. Yeah, you know my lipstick gloss. I got the secret sauce. Make it look easy. My life's too ripe, it feeds me. I'm feeling up, I'm queasy. No, they don't want me, they need me. Make it look effortless. Not many out here who can weather this. I know that I'm your preference. Gotta get in line, it never ends. I know that I'm priceless, yeah, I can't even hide it. Why they tryna fight it? Yeah, I know what you want, I know you like it. I stay steady shining, can't hold me down, I'm flying. If I sell the buying, you got the keys, I'm driving. I'm priceless, yeah, I can't even hide it. Why they tryna fight it? Yeah, I know what you want, I know you like it. I stay steady shining, can't hold me down, I'm flying. If I sell the buying, you got the keys, I'm driving. Prototypical, you can find me nowhere invisible. Make them miserable when they can't get a taste. They wanna replace me, but they can't find a grace that can save them, so they stay waiting. One of a kind, it's such a real statement. I got them craving money, they say to see me on stage. It's really amazing, yeah. How I keep them coming back. Give a little taste, just a snack. Only speak facts, I know what the world's been lacking. Give a little listen to what I've been tracking. Oh yeah, now you're hooked. Only took one good verse and it's cooked. Stick a fork in the beat and I make your feet jump. Turn the heat up and I get you on the re-up, yeah. Make it look easy. This life's too ripe, it feeds me. I'm feeling up, I'm queasy. No, they don't want me, they need me. Make it look effortless. Not many out there who can weather this. I know that I'm your preference. Gotta get in line, it never ends. I know that I'm priceless, yeah, I can't even hide it. Why they tryna fight it? Yeah, I know what you want, I know you like it. I stay steady shining, can't hold me down, I'm flying. If I sell the buying, you got the keys, I'm driving. I'm priceless, yeah, I can't even hide it. Why they tryna fight it? Yeah, I know what you want, I know you like it. I stay steady shining, can't hold me down, I'm flying. If I sell the buying, I got the keys, I'm driving. 길어진 밤 해가 뜬다 다시 날 비추는 거울 속 가슴 속 막혀있는 my pride 조금보단 가치를 봐내 안에 흐르는 온도도 겉으론 볼 수 없잖아 I've been waiting for you 왠지 너의 거리 주변만으로 들리지 않던 난 beautiful 지난 모습 어디로 길을 걸을 때 This feeling seems so natural I've been waiting for you 왠지 머리카락에 주면 말해요 들리지 않던 난 beautiful 지난 모습 잊어가는 시간 똑딱똑딱 At last I know my worth 이제 난 수면 위로 올라와 찰칵찰칵 At last I know my worth At last I know
Out of breath, time running to the bank. When you winning, they gon' have something to say. Was broke, now I got expensive taste. When I was way down, I always kept the faith. Out of breath, time running to the bank. When you winning, they gon' have something to say. Was broke, now I got expensive taste. When I was way down, I always kept the faith. Yeah, I always kept the faith. Look my problems in the face. Thank the Lord I saw the day, cause I ain't knowed another day. I've been cutting to the chase, but don't cut corners that ain't safe. There's a will and there's a way. You stay strong, you won't break. But hey, hold up, tell me what's your motive. Tell me what's your motive. You gon' grind when it goes unnoticed. When it goes unnoticed, what's your fate? Even at your lowest, you gon' keep on going. You gon' keep on going, you gon' keep on going. Hey, yeah, living every day with a purpose. Even though we made mistakes and ain't perfect. Yeah, living our best life cause we deserve it. Yeah, we deserve it. Out of breath, time running to the bank. When you winning, they gon' have something to say. Was broke, now I got expensive taste. When I was way down, I always kept the faith. Out of breath, time running to the bank. When you winning, they gon' have something to say. Was broke, now I got expensive taste. When I was way down, I always kept the faith. Kept the faith. Out of breath, time running to the bank. When you winning, they gon' have something to say. Was broke, now I got expensive taste. When I was way down, I always kept the faith.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Warsaw as we are about to take a look at what is potentially one of the most dominant performances in the grand finals I've ever seen in my life. 2 games in a row, victory in less than 30 minutes.
Do you think it's going to be the third one like that? Or maybe it's going to be a reverse sweep, the first one in the history of Ultraliga.
I mean, if you were looking for the time to make a reverse sweep, that is the time to happen. Because right now, things
are complicated. Are very, very complicated if you're AB.
Let me put it this way, okay?
Yeah.
Game number 1, it's been a disaster.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like Jeremy Clarkson. It's a disaster.
Yes.
Game number 2, a bit less of a disaster.
Much less of a disaster, but still a disaster in the end.
Precisely, right? What we saw from AB is a great attempt and quite good potential. They had their means to control the team fight. And they were controlling those team fights, even despite the fact that Roizen was healing everybody up, which was happening. But because of the fact that he went in a bit of a more I will kill people build instead of I will heal people build. I mean, there are two types. There are two types of build. I will kill people. I will heal people. He decided to go on to the kill people build. Great. But he wasn't able to sustain the entirety of his crew, which wasn't exactly the best. But then when AB tried to team fight, that's when things started to fall apart, because they were not in a position to dictate the pace and the rules of those team fights. Albeit Anonymo was still in the position of dictating those rules.
I had a lot of hopes in the previous draft when I saw this Ezreal picked right after Jace. I was like, hey, finally AB are trying new things, because the other teams have been winning their games recently, but they haven't really been trying new things. It's just their general approach started working for them because they've perfected it, but they are not the team to experiment a lot in the Summoner's Rift. When I saw the Jace Ezreal, I was like, hey, finally, they are approaching the team fights differently. They're approaching the game differently. They're going to play through the poke. They did play a little bit through the poke, and it was pretty successful, but they weren't pushing it enough again in the second game in a row. I need to see if finally they're going to wake up this time and come with the new ideas, maybe.
Reverse sweep tactics?
Yes, thank you. I was looking for something like that. We need some reverse sweep tactics. Not just any tactics into the game, but the special
I have a pun.
tactics.
I have a pun.
Okay.
We need to see some team fight tactics.
You've had better ones.
Oh.
But it's okay. Like it's like,
but
you know,
it's
only
the
4
team
out of
fighting
10.
that they need to, you know, kind of get a control with. And
when you explain it, fun, it gets a little bit worse. It's like a joke. But it's
okay, stop playing the arena. Anyway, the idea is we really need to see some kind of a different approach from AB. We talked about it in the previous game. We're going to save this again, because now the draft is not the issue. You said it yourself, the draft was good.
Yes.
The draft was promising, but it was the vision, as you said, in the game number 1, that was lacking in the game number 2. They tried to approach the game with the same idea. They tried to approach the game with, we're going to try to win those team fights, we're going to try to win those skirmishes. And that's when things pretty much went south. Skirmishes is not something you can win. Team fights, maybe. But skirmishes, definitely not, especially when you have Severo, who's going 10-05. To be honest,
it's really hard to win a game if you have Severo and the enemy team going 10-05 against
On Rumble.
you. On Rumble, exactly, on Rumble. And you see, for the second game in a row already, albeit Anonymo are drafting towards their mid game and with their transition to the mid game, and they're ending the game into the mid game. This just tells you how much experience albeit Anonymo have as a team compared to Alia Bank team, because AB have been playing for a lot. All those players except for Maddox on the top lane have been playing a lot, but albeit Anonymo simply have more experience combined in their team. They know how long they need to drag the game for, when they need to finish the game, when they need to team fight, when they need to leave the fight and not try to force anything against the enemies. And AB are lacking this more strategic approach to the game.
I mean, they have seen it all in a certain manner of it, right? They already have dragged the games to the later stages. They were winning the games in the early stages. Now it's time to win the games in the all stages, really. By the looks of it. And my biggest question is what AB will do right now, because it's quite obvious we need Matix on a weak side role. We need him to pick up the idea of I'm a weak side top in the game, and we need to throw all the possible resources into the hands of Svens, who has been playing his hands out in the previous game together with Manny. My hope just lies in these two players.
They were exceptional, especially on the second map. You pointed out so many times the difference in the gold on the mid lane and on the bot lane, because both Svens and Manny were really ahead of their enemies. But they weren't the only ones in the team, and everywhere else the game was pretty much falling out of any sort of control from the side of AB. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I need to see Maddox on a weak side. Something like Owen, something, just anything as a weak side on the top lane. Something that will survive against Prime, because Prime is having a prime time while the top lane just killing Maddox over and over, especially when Severo comes around to visit and say hi. But Maddox should drop the idea of trying to have the carry on the top lane.
Severo's just like a neighbor. He goes, howdy neighbor!
Okay, yeah, but I'm afraid the neighbor is not really happy with howdy.
I mean, remember there was this game back in the day? how to make a neighbor angry, or what was the name of it?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
I feel like Severe is playing exactly that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. To be fair, he is. But okay, we want to see a different approach from AB. We want to see a different approach from Maddox as well. We want Spence and Matic to pretty much maintain what they have been doing so far. Anything else we want to see in this game?
That's a team fighting from AB.
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel like they have the potential. I'm looking at this fight specifically, and it was a bit of an unfortunate set of events that led into AB completely losing that fight. Right here, when you have the root being pressed, or right at the second when Neriman was about to die.
Yeah.
That split second pretty much have determined the outcome of this fight. Now, do AB have the potential to outwit their opponents in the team fights? Definitely. Have they been able to do that, especially from the back foot when it comes in the goal advantage? No. And I feel like a stable early game in which they don't particularly get themselves in the lead, but they don't fall behind, is going to be exactly what will allow Chipsy is the GOAT.
Chipsy is the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
It's hard to argue with that.
The GOAT.
We have really good supports in Ultraliga, but Chipsy is definitely one of the top ones we have in the league right now.
But coming back to the point, it feels like it is just very important for Alior Bank team not to per se win the early game, but to sustain through it in a balance.
I see a point, but also I think this is where the danger comes for them. Additional danger. Because if you think about it, Orbit and Anonymo, their usual strategy is to just wait out the early game and then start team fighting in the mid game. Which means for AB going with the same idea is not necessarily going to work out. Because you're just allowing Orbit and Anonymo to play their most comfort game out of them all. You need to add something else to the equation. And I really don't know what.
But the thing is, in the previous two games, we've seen Orbit and Anonymo take full control of the early game.
Yes, that's true.
That's the thing, right? What allowed them to excel so hard into the mid game is the fact that early game was in complete control of theirs. And now let's see what the teams are bringing, because AB, again on the red side, might be something that will help them in the game that is about to come. But we'll have to see.
Okay, we're starting with some fiery thoughts here from AB, and to be honest, I agree as well, because that's a very good point. They ban out Rumble. No Rumble for this game for Orbit and full Severe. I wonder what he will decide to pick this time. Poppy is banned out by Orbit and themselves, so another good jungler is out of the picture. Maybe something that Sejuani is going to make a return, because Severe has played quite a lot of her, but look at that, AB are really not kidding around. They're on the right side, they realize they need to ban out the first picks for the blue side, so Rel is going to be the second ban from them, but Orbit and the Poppy, the Ziggs, and now the Azure, of course, against Money.
And Sejuani banned as well. Severo is left with still quite a bit of choices. He can still direct himself into something like Vi, or maybe into some more carry jungles. We'll have to see. Prime locking in Xayah.
Kai'Sa has not been banned!
Oh, and Svens picks that one up for himself. Would be lovely to see an AD Kai'Sa in this game.
Oh yeah.
Because AP Kai'Sa might suit the playstyle of Svens, but it feels like you need more of a hard-hitting AD carry in those up-close team fights and not just the poke. Let's see what they're going to bring up though, because a lot of support's still open. Rakan is open, Nautilus is open, you can try to steal it away. Rakan pretty much seems like an obvious choice here.
The Lovebirds are not going to be reunited today, apparently, because it's going to be Rakan playing against Xayah, but they're answering with the Nautilus, a pretty obvious choice, to be honest, both of these support. Oh my god, they didn't ban out Fiora!
We've seen that the top lane has been such a uncontrolled land.
Yeah.
When AB were not able to maintain neutrality, but fully give the grounds into the hands of Orbit and Anonymo, and with Fiora locked in for Prime, that might be just the case. But look at this. So Xante locked in. For Matix, it might be this weak side top laner that we were talking about, right? So now it really falls onto the hands of AB to decide what they want for their mid-jungle duo, because if that works well for them, they might be able to take control of the map.
I love this Xante pick. Maddox has played quite a lot of Xantes, he knows how to operate them, and it is, as you said, a very reliable weak side for him. Though, to be honest, no weak side is going to be reliable against Fiora, no side is going to be reliable against Fiora. If she wants to jump on top of you, she is going to jump on top of you and dominate you, and you are not going to like it necessarily, but the jungle is going to be the big answer to us from Orbit and Anonymo side as well, because they need to pick something good for Severe. I was hoping for Sejuani, she was banned out in the first rotation of the bans, but now they still need to add something to make sure that they can completely accelerate Prime, because I have a feeling this is going to to be an idea for them again in this game.
LeBlanc taken away. An interesting choice. Together with Seraphim, the second rotations of the bans are almost over. Last thing they can try to ban out here might be Jace, as it has been quite a bit of trouble. On the other hand, it is hard for me to determine whether this is a poke composition or not because of that versatility of the build that comes from Kaiser.
It can be. Or it can be an all-in, because the all-in potential is already massive for AB.
With the quickness, with the Xante, it just seems like a logical choice. And Kindred.
From Ali. He has played quite some Kindred. He was one of those rare Kindred users in Ultraliga in this season. And it's a good... Oh my god! Look at those specs in this game. They're delivering. That is Nico for money.
Okay, so they decide to go with the full all-in composition.
Yeah.
That might be their victory sign, or that might be their downfall, because, again, you're going to bring the team fight to the enemy.
Maokai is not banned out. It can be Maokai for Ultraliga right now, because they already have Zaya, who is going to be pretty happy with the enemies going into it. If they add something else that is going to be ready to meet all this all-in, they're going to be pretty fine still going into the team fights, but that is victory for Reason. Back to the roots, apparently we go, because this is one of his most big picks, I believe, in the season.
One of the, I probably would agree with that. And last pick for jungle, that might just pretty much determine it all for Anonymo. Can they go for that Rek'Sai? They could. Instead, they're going to rotate to Viego. Probably one of the strongest picks to pick up right now because of the amount of the resets you can get in this game.
The resets are good. The resets are speaking, to be honest. Are they going to be able to claim those? Because AB have a lot of burst right now with their all-in. If they add anything else that works with this composition, like Wukong, for example, for the jungle or anything, or even Kha'Zix, to be honest, works perfectly fine, much better than what we saw in the first map for them with their draft. So AB want to go all-in, kill somebody on the spot, hopefully get out of that alive. Anonymo, are they going to be able to withstand that? Because they have some squishes on their side, and if there's not going to be any cleanse in there, I mean, I'm going to be genuinely worried for him.
I mean, to be frank, what Anonymo do lack on their side right now is the tankiness, right? Because they do have the Nautilus, but Viego and Fiora is not going to be the most tanky of the champions.
No.
With that being said, with the amount of all-in potential, especially if Spencer's going to go into the AD build, I do believe that they should be able to try and sweep away a few of the enemy champions. But the thing is, what I see here a little bit as well is a bit of a do or die approach.
Yeah.
Because alling in your opponent that you see has so much potential when it comes to team fighting is a really tricky business, right? This is literally working with your chances to the point when you just look at it and go, either it works or we die in style.
Yeah, but to be honest, this game is like that for AB in general. This is their last chance. If they win this one, they are dragging the series further. Maybe they even go further reverse sweep. But if they lose, this is going to be their last game in this series and in this season of Ultraliga. They're going to give away the victory to Anonymo, which of course they're going to be very happy with. But AB are really trying to make sure this is not an easy victory for them.
Stealing away the map would be a great start for a reverse sweep.
Yeah.
And it is very important to try to knock Anonymo off their horse, at which they're sitting right now. It might be Rouch, it might not be, depends.
Yeah.
If you're bagged on the rooftop, then probably it is.
Probably.
Because that's what Rouch does. But with that out of the way,
You don't need to elaborate on that.
I may.
Is that a threat?
Depends. I am choosing not to say anything, too specific. It's like, you don't need to. I may. Is that a friend? Maybe. Are you going to elaborate? Depends.
I'm genuinely terrified right now, by the way.
Should be. Of AB. But, let me continue my thought over there. But the thing is, Anonymo are right now on a very big course.
Oh, yeah.
They realize that they are getting pretty much away with anything that they're doing. All of it is just unpunished.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, they're just going away with it unpunished. if AB manage to knock them off their horse, that will be a good start to pick up the pace. Can they do this?
Yeah.
Is the biggest trouble. And will they actually knock off the pace? Because what they need to is to send a message that AB can actually win those games. And the 2 first games are not sending that message.
No, the first 2 games are sending the message of albeit Anonymo taking the W's in their pockets and not letting the enemy even get the taste of that. But again, this might just be the first reverse sweep in the history of Ultraliga if AB start taking the victories in their hands right now. But albeit Anonymo are looking really strong. Again, just 1 W for them, and they're taking the trophy, taking it home, showing it to Nermin and Prime, you know, on like, I don't know, a video call or something, because they're still playing from home, so they cannot really lift the trophy. But at least the 3 members are going to do that if they win.
Can you imagine they're just standing there with a Skype video call and just, you know, like, you won this. That's kind of yours.
Yeah, hey, look, that's
you know,
that's
touch
yours.
it, and the hand just all of a sudden emerges from the phone, just going trophy.
Mine.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's being shared equally by all the players. And
does it mean they're breaking the trophy? Oh, that would be a shame. It's a pretty trophy.
That's true.
Yeah. No.
DrBrilmann.exe has stopped working. Can you please reboot the system?
I don't know how do I do it. Like, poke?
Thank you. By any means. By any means. Right now, what I really want to see is Matix to be fully left alone as a weak side top lane, and to see Addy throw himself in the bot lane and make sure that Svans is as in a great position as possible.
I'm not sure if Maddox is going to be left alone at the top lane though, because so far he has not been left alone by the enemy team. It has been albeit Anonymo constantly visiting the top lane, just never letting the poor guy be there, especially in the previous game where Olaf was like, what, 0-7? That is not what you want to be as
Albeit Anonymo found out that he is exploitable.
Yeah.
And they are doing this. This is something actually very similar that we had a few seasons ago when Kakan was playing for Iron Wolves. He was exploitable, and some of the teams were making sure to use it to the fullest. That they exploit the fact that Kakan was dropping sometimes the lane. He was able to deliver in the team fights. Now with Xante, an ultimate that can pretty much allow you to stay in a certain way of it in the circle of things, that might be the game changer.
That might be. Let's see. I mean, there are many changes for AB in this draft. But this is again the last chance for AB to do something about their situation in the grand finals, because otherwise we're going to have a 3-0 victory for Orbit Anonymo, and they're going to be very happy with that, because previous season they tried to go for the trophy but they couldn't. Maybe this time is going to be the time that they seal it. Ladies and gentlemen, is this going to be the last game of the day, or maybe not? Maybe we hear the Silver Scrapes today.
With that being said, let's jump straight to the Summoner's Rift as we are about to witness the Fates Call.
All right, what do we have? Okay, wait, I'm gonna ask you the question from the first game. Where do you think the first blood is going to happen?
That is a good question.
I know.
And I genuinely don't particularly have an answer to that, because I feel like it's going to be determined with the flow of the game rather than, you know, some sort of a precise pinpoint.
Give me an answer, man. Don't be boring.
On the Rift.
Wow, thank you. That's not what I wanted to hear.
On the Twisted Tree line. Now the memories have kicked in.
Oh no, oh
yes.
no, oh no, I'm gonna cry.
I think the fans are singing.
Yes, what are they singing?
I don't know, but they're singing something.
They're singing about Royson.
Yeah, they were singing about Rosen.
They have a song about Royson. I need to know the lyrics.
Ultraliga fans are very passionate one.
Oh my god.
And that's why we love them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Okay, but Rosen on his comfort pick, let's put it this way. I feel like every pick is comfort for him, but this is like the especially like double, triple comfort. Everybody's pretty much playing comfort. Nermin has not been denied Xayah in
if you're trying to sell me a bed, you're not doing the best of jobs. Why should I buy this bed? Because it's double, triple comfort.
You know what? Have it. Have this moment.
I think I've broken Solari, ladies and gentlemen. Through and through. Might be physically, might be mentally. I don't really know. That depends. Sorry?
It's both.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that happens. Anyway, let's see how the teams are going to approach it. Especially, I'm looking at the junglers right now. So look at that. Severe, already level 3, already going towards his top side. In the meantime, Addy, picking up his level 3, now going towards the bot side of the map. He is not playing a tanky jungler, which means I don't particularly expect to have an early level 3, level 4 tower dive, right, underneath the enemy turret on the bot lane. However, I am expecting a bit of action, especially in those 2 minutes, because I feel like as AB, what you want is to push for the early objective.
But the lane on the bot lane is going to bounce back. He doesn't need to go under the turret if he just waits a little bit, and he's waiting because he's clearing out his jungle right now. If his bot laners freeze the lane on the mid lane, it is going to be the perfect opening for him to go in. And by the way, speaking of Ahri, I really wonder what the build is going to look like. Is it going to be another Gorginker or something a little bit more spicy?
He could try to go for a, for the one-shot build, since there's quite a few targets that will be accessible, let's put it this way. But we'll have to see. Manny, in the meantime, pushes in his lane, which does allow Severe to potentially try to look for a gank. Decide not to. Scuttle Grasp have been taken, and now Addy playing a bit with fire here, but no, what he decides to do is just drop down a very deep ward, go back, and gain a little bit of the tempo momentum.
Okay, Severe is still staying. He's not recalling right now, so he's going to lose quite a lot of time, actually, compared to Ahri. You're absolutely correct. The tempo is definitely there for Ahri this time. He is farming up. He has been moving through the map quite nice into the jungle. Didn't approach the bot lane, by the way, which is something we kind of hope for, especially with Nermin being low in mana all the time. But, well, it's fine. AB are really taking the early game slower this time, and OpenNorma have not forced any team fights or any fights whatsoever so far. So the game is looking very different compared to the previous one.
Look at that. Addy, by the looks of it, really wants to try and set up a gank onto Prime. If they do that, that will allow Matix to have a bit of a more comfort laning zone, and will allow Addy to actually go and explore other lanes, which might be one of the most important things here. Will it happen though? Matix already really low on health, took a bit of a beating, might be a baiting maneuver, but no, by the looks of it, it isn't. Addy is now completing his Raptors. He's gonna maybe rotate towards that dragon and try to go for that early objective.
It is really hard to gank Prime though, because the guy is not running with any flash, he's running with a Ghost, which means he's just simply going to run away from the enemies who decide to come on him. And as you mentioned, Matix is really low in health on the top lane pretty much all the time, so it's really hard for Ahri to get anything accelerated there, so maybe they are going with the idea that you had for them for the draft. Just leave Matix on the weak side, leave Matix completely alone, don't touch the top lane, don't do anything around there. That was interesting from Grypciocraft. Okay.
They are trying to get a kill confirmed onto Minimagic. They could have done it because of the damage that Nermin already possesses, has the quiver already in his hands too. Chipsy walks out, take the turret shot, walks out, fair enough. Might be looking for a fight here. Addy onto Spear, a lot of health already missing. Flash being burnt. Conqueror's prop with an ultimate! Brilliant combo! As they take the first block with the flash forward. That is the AB that we wanted to see from the very beginning of that series.
Oh, that was good from AB. Finally, the kills are dropping for them in the early game. Those are really good kills as well. Look at the distribution. This is a kill for Manny. And we already saw in the previous 2 games how potent Manny is. And we just had another display of his talents with his Pop Blossom, which was absolutely by the book.
Ooh, and Matix with an all-out. Is he looking to try to go for the kill? But the grand challenge has been expected. Prime, for the first time, has been forced out of the lane by Matix. I don't want to jinx it. Again, I don't want to jinx it. But I feel like AB are finally smelling blood.
I think you're jinxing it because Severe is around. I'm sorry, man.
Was it a caster curse? Please tell me no.
No,
yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Matix still lives in the meantime. Prime still lives as well. Apparently, he doesn't have a teleport. His recall is going to be a tough one to handle. But it's fine. As long as he doesn't die, it's fine. He's still farming up. He's still going to be picking up the items. But it's interesting because he was on his lane with Shin this time, and there were no items for Matix except for the Ruby Crystal. So there was an advantage for Prime, and still he couldn't use it because a level 6 for Xande is a pretty big one. And Xade is one of the comfort picks for Maddox. He has been picking him quite a lot throughout the season. But we have the replay. That's a lot of flashes, by the way, but Money is absolutely exceptional. Nico is an interesting pick for the mid lane because she doesn't necessarily possess a lot of damage, but you never have to underestimate the amount of control that she brings, especially with a good Pop Blossom.
And that Pop Blossom might be just a whole different story. I feel like Nico, in the hands of Mane, is a different version of their Zia.
Oh,
in a certain way of it. Because that ultimate can be a game changer in the team fights.
Yeah.
That provides control and provides the setup for the entirety of the team. And we might see here just that, because Minimagic Spencer here, this is a sandwich. Minimagic triple knockup, very good one, but he's already going very low on health with the Pop Blossom. Was good, but can they continue? The damage pouring in Chipsy, had to flash out. Manny dead! That is not the best position for EB to be, and they're trying to retreat. Severa had the reset. Looking for more root coming in through with the Heartbreaker, Spence. Still alive, burned the flash away, but it was all worth it. Dragon fell into the hands of all but Anonymo, and they have gone as victorious after this team fight.
That was a good team fight. Very good reset for Viego, almost getting a kill to Spence, but Spence is a little bit too close and a little bit too slippery, so it was really hard to get to him. And he did a lot of damage in this fight as well. But Minimagic was exceptional. We love seeing Minimagic on Rakan. Him jumping in, setting up things, waiting for another big crowd control ultimate coming in. The crowd control link from the Alior Bank team is something they need to be playing around a lot in this game. And I feel like this is going to be the case for them because it has worked out very well already for them. I just want to see more of that, man.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
For now, we see that AB is actually in the lead. When it comes to gold, 1,000 almost sits in their hands. And the majority of that lead sits in the mid lane. And that's exactly what you want to see right now, because of the Pop Blossoms that you've been just highlighting to us, and because of what we saw in the first blood. Manny might be exactly the person who will change the tides of this series. Giving the resources to him means that you will provide Nico with damage, you will provide Nico with control, and that Pop Blossom will chunk away enemies' HP. Now, we need to see more of that.
Now, not just that. Nico is going to scale much worse than Victor is. Victor is going to be running Nico over in just one-on-one and isolated from anything else scenario later in the game. But by giving Money more money, that sounds good. By giving Money more resources and kills, AB are making sure that he's getting these items much quicker than Royson, and they're accelerating him into the mid-game much better than Royson is having right now. But for Royson, that's a normal scenario. That's a typical, Saturday afternoon game for him.
And look at that. So Minimagic and Addy clearing away the enemy jungle and now waiting for Severa. Problem is, there's way too much time. They're going to use Matix to get info on Severa, where he is, and is he going to go there or not. They understand that it's a lost cause. They drop it, and now Minimagic can return, reset, while Addy can continue to try to look for something either here in the mid lane or continue to fish for Severa, who will now, thanks to the ward from Matix,
no.
Or not.
No. Oh, he's smarter than that. He realized maybe somebody was waiting for him. That would have been a good kill for AB.
Wow.
Because Adi is really strong right now. And Adi would have taken down Severa, who is with a Herald in his hands right now. You prevent the Herald from being released right now. You make sure you delete as much as possible. But yeah, Severa is coming back with a whole item. He has a Triforce already completed as a Viego.
Might be in trouble. Might be cut away here. Severa is looking for him, dancing around with the Pop Blossom. One-on-one. Severa is winning it for the time being. Teleporter coming in through. Chipsy on to Spence right now. Potent him in. Rosen teleports himself in. Spence out with the counter instinct. Brilliantly played! With the double kill for Manny. This is the AB we wanted to see. Might be looking for more here. Minimagic full HP. Can look for it. Has the quickness available to him just in time. And are they going to use it? Yes, they are. But Spence is not firing away. Waiting for the teleport to come in through. Manny's going to come back and he's looking for more. The face shield is not going to stop you. The root coming in through with the Pop Blossom. That is just brilliant. Rosen forced to flash out. 4-1-3 Nico. 2-1 Kaiser. AB are back in the race.
This is AB who are in the end trying some new things on the Summoner's Rift, and aren't we happy to see that? They're taking in the Zero Tenacity strategy, just play around one singular person in your team, and they're playing around Manny. Boy, oh boy, if they continue playing around Manny, he's going to deliver, because the man is already sitting on the Hextech Rocket Bell, which means additional mobility for him in the fight. The ultimate has a really short cooldown, so he's going to be able to Pop Blossom the enemies really quickly on time, because in a minute, less than a minute, it's going to be the second Drake of the game. It released the Infernal Drake right after the Hextech Drake, so the combination of the early Drakes is really strong. For AB, it is crucial that they take this second Drake away from Orbit Anonymo.
They need to deny it. They need to make sure that OAE doesn't get any more actual leads in that early game, because they have taken control over it. 3,000 gold ahead. Manny feeling like an absolute king of a hill at the moment.
Oh, it's a minion. Oh, no, it's not.
And also almost 1,000 gold lead on that Kaiser. It's a brilliant setup for you, and you just need to make sure that this setup continues to work for you. Right now, the Herald is going to be released in the bot lane. A little bit of that additional gold falls into the hands of Severe and Nerimin. 175 goes to each. 10 seconds on the clock before the dragon is going to be released on the map. Orbit Anonymo are first for the party. Let's see what they can do.
We are closing in. By the way, I hate to break it to you, but this is going to be the AP Kaiser. Look at the items. This is already the static shift. This is the AP Kaiser. A lot of poke. A lot of very good damage. If he goes into Ginsu as a third item, he still has the all-in potential, just with a little bit more of the poke attitude. That was close from Chipsy. But Orbit Anonymo are already starting the Drake. Can Adi jump in and try to steal it away?
Quite a good question, but the dragon is falling down really, really quickly. I don't think they can steal it away at all. Are they going to fight for a death charge into Adi? Are they going to be on the chase? Yes, they are with a Pop Blossom, but only one has been found there together with the quickness. Grand entrance, though, is so huge! AB just annihilates Orbit Anonymo. They punish them for all the deeds that they have done to them in the previous 2 games.
All right, that's a 3-10 already. That is a completely different game. It's like we didn't really see Alior playing in the previous 2 games, and now finally we have them totally online. I love it for them. I love it that even though they didn't take the Drake, they still are in the lead. Oh my god, Prime run.
This parry was good, but now you have a Kha'Zix to deal with. The Grand Challenge has been accepted, but the only person who's going to fall because of this is Prime himself. First death is confirmed on Prime.
Oh yes, this is the first, I believe it's the first death of him on the lane during this series. It could just be.
I think so.
I think so, because previously him and Severe were just running over the top lane. But look at that! Orbit Anonymo have the objective bounty right now. This game is completely the opposite of the previous ones. Orbit Anonymo are the one fighting from behind, but the thing is, Orbit Anonymo are fine fighting with behind. They much prefer to have the early game in their control. They much prefer to play from the stronger position, but they don't necessarily feel too bad playing from behind. However, they're pretty behind, so let's see if it's going to still work out for them. But look at this combination of everything. I love it how Minimatic and Mani are working together, combining their ultimates, because it is really hard for AB to do, not for AB, sorry, but for Orbit Anonymo to do anything when these 2 champions are running at them with full speed.
Every part of the map right now is, well, almost every, is in control of AB. The only thing that they are constantly losing control over is the Drake. In this particular game, though, it is not that crucial. Because of the fact that you have so much gold in your hands, and you're going to have a Herald spawning in 5 seconds. Top side of the map is fully under your control. You have the presence in the mid lane, you have the presence in the top lane. There's no one who is going to contest this Herald in his full sanity of his mind. With that being said, they're going to take it. They're going to be happy with it, and they can finally answer with the push of their own, and even take the first turret while at it.
Because that's the only thing they haven't been doing so far. They've been fighting the kills. They've been fighting really good fights with the enemies. They have been taking the, trying to take the objectives. Okay, they haven't been really taking them, but they haven't been pushing whatsoever. They haven't been threatening the turrets. Right now, with the Herald in their hands, they have a chance to do so. And the mid lane turret, to be honest, is going to be a big thing for them if they take it. I would not be surprised if the Herald is going to be released there. Bot lane looks good as well, because right now, Mani and Svens are the main recipients of any money on the map. And it needs to continue like that, because they need to be building items. Almost a nature state completed for Svens. Almost second item for Mani, getting pretty close. Mani is still in a massive gold lead, by the way. It's almost 2k between him and Rosen.
And also the jungle, looking at Addy right now, it's a whole shift in a scenario. Now Addy is in control, running around with the gold drinker, has the 1,000 gold lead over his adversary in the mid lane. He is, not in the mid lane, sorry, in the jungle. He is fine. The man is finally allowed to breathe, and it is going to be the Bruiser Kha'Zix, or a bit of a more Bruiser-ish Kha'Zix, which might be exactly what they were looking for. Matix might be looking to fall again here in the top lane. Still Fiori you're dealing with. And despite the fact that you were granted with that assist, it might not help you. in those fights.
But he has the item against Fiora. He has the completed third mail. That is a really good item against Ooh, Ari is keeping the enemy jungle again, but Severe is not going to stop him whatsoever. A minute before the next Drake is going to spawn, potential soul point for Orbit, not about, but AB are gaining more and more control of that river around the Drake.
And a great difference that we see right now between the Grand Challenge has been accepted. That was lost. Triatix with an all-out. Can he do it? Healing up. Yes, sir! That is an exchange, and it must feel so good for the 16-year-old top laner.
Oh, the turret though! How much health does it have? Can we see, please? Can we see? Because it's barely standing there.
Come on,
yeah,
one
it's
tap.
one tap. Please do it.
Thank you.
Okay, it was one tap from mid laner or support or both of them, but that was more than enough. Finally, the million turret is down. It was just the first turret in the game. We're really having a very interestingly paced game in terms of the objectives on the map. But yes, AB have opened up the further objectives for themselves. 25 seconds before the Drake is spawning. Look at the amount of words from AB already on the river. They see the approaches from the bot lane everywhere there. They just don't see anything from the mid lane. But other than that, AB are ready to go in and try to take at least one Drake of the series.
The fans are cheering for their respective teams. AB are kicking themselves in. 6,000 is the amount of gold that they have in their pocket right now when it comes to the advantage. They are finally back in this race. Can they do it? Top lane turn is about to fall. Matix might be in a bit of trouble. Prime chasing him down. Grand Challenge again has to be accepted with the Ghost being propped in. Matix still keeping himself alive thanks to the amount of resist that he has. Was able to sustain so much from Prime, and this is exactly what we've been talking about in the draft point. Now he is able to outlive Prime in those fights.
And also look at what's happening for Ultraliga right now, because they put a lot of emphasis on the top lane. They tried to make sure Prime goes for the kill. They were securing him around. They decided to bet on the top lane, completely losing control over the Drake. They gave away the Drake to Alior Bank team. They lost the Drake and they got nothing on the top lane apart from the turret in the process.
Might be another skirmish, but the bot lane turret seems to fall just in a few seconds. Severe is around, but he's not going to be able to do anything from the disadvantageous position that he was forced to be in. Total gold. This is something very interesting to me. Both Manny and Sven sit on almost the exact amount of same gold. Oh, Addy flashes over the wall. Minimagic is here to help him out with the battle dance. Chaos Storm not going to finish the job, however. Prime is around here. Looking for some kind of a play maybe on the bot lane turret.
Yeah, it looks like they want to rotate Prime to the bot lane, maybe to try to completely leave him alone, because that is a strategy for Orbit Anonymo. If something doesn't work out for Prime, they completely leave him alone to be a split pusher, and that usually works for him quite nice, especially, yeah, because their objective bounties on the map still for Orbit Anonymo. If they use Prime to keep taking the turrets, which he can do really quickly, because that's goddamn Fiora, they are going to at least try to balance out the situation with the gold between the teams.
And that's going to grant them with quite a few gold in their pockets. Was a very easy pickup as well. Baron is on the map though, and look at AB. Are they willing to coin flip it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's not even full coin flip, because this time they are very strongly in the lead. They are having a lot of pressure on the mid lane right now. They are protecting the bot lane because Maddox has rotated there and he has a teleport, unlike Prime, who doesn't have any TP whatsoever.
Top lane is now going to get sieged by Manny to try to deliver at least a little bit. 3-on-3. Fair fight. We'll be looking for more, but Rosen is here. Ali hooked in. Quickness has been used as well to try to get out. Triple knock-up with the grand entrance and flash out from Minimagic. He's in the safety. Prime walks up. A bit of a risky choice here. Sven's firing away.
Oh, they're taking the turret.
They are indeed. That is gold they so desperately need. AB tried to defend, but they can't because of the amount of wave clear and because of the amount of damage that Orbit Anonymo already have on their hands. And the gold situation have stabilized a tiny bit. It's 5k that now is the difference between the two teams.
That's better.
It's better, but still not something that we've seen in these previous two games.
That's true. For the 2 games in a row, Orbit Anonymo were playing from ahead. Quite heavily ahead. This time they are behind. How well did they fare in the best of 5 when they're playing from behind? Because to be honest, in the best of 5, they haven't really had a chance to fully play from behind. We're talking a lot about it in their match against Zero Tenacity, how both the teams really prefer to be playing from ahead, and they have they had like a massive, almost 100% goal win rate when they were playing from ahead. So for Obit Anonymo, definitely playing from behind is not something they're too accustomed with. At least in the official games in Ultraliga. We don't know where else they tried out some things, but definitely some things need to be tried out and working for them because they are still losing, though the items are pouring in. Prime is already sitting on 2 items onto Royson. Speaking of Prime, that is not where he wants to be, I think.
A lot of people now concentrated on the top side of the map. AB, they're still looking for some kind of a play here at the top side of the map, but I'm not sure. What do they look for? Are they looking for the Baron? Are they looking for the turret? Are they looking for something different? They weren't able to pull the trigger on it just yet, at the very least. Been forced out. Cook coming in through, Minimagic stunned in. Gets out, depth charge onto Manny. Hop him up in the air, Prime is on the chase. Shirelius is there to help him out. It's really hard to catch up with Minimagic, with Manny in this game.
It's really hard to point them down, even if you throw it. What are you doing? They're just trying to provoke LA Bank to do something here on this part of the map, because in a minute the Drake is going to come up. Leaving LA Bank to do whatever they want on the map right now means that they're going to have complete control over both of their objectives. And Obit Anonymo are doing an interesting thing here. They're trying to split the attention of LA Bank. They're trying to make sure that AB need to be at so many places all at the same time. That's why we constantly see Prime on the split push duties. Not just because he's behind and he feels the need to go there, but also because he needs to make sure Maddox is constantly occupied with something else rather than helping the team.
Well, let's see. Matix is here. Prime looking maybe for a 1v1, but Rosen is here to help him out. The ground challenge has been accepted. Not going to do too much damage, only half of his HP is gone. Trying to go for more. The parry has been perfectly timed, and I believe that might be the case for Matix. Hops over the wall with the flash. Runs for his life, still not dead. Reinforcements coming in. Severa might be the first one to receive those reinforcements as Minimagic tries to put Gypsy away. Prime is on the chase. Minimagic has been caught away in their crossfire. Gets out on the quickness, gets out on the movement speed of Hayes. As Matix is resetting, has the teleport available to himself. That means if he wants to arrive onto the team fight, he will. Now it's Obit Anonymo who are a little bit on the run here.
But it's a good run. It's a good run because they're not running away from the immediate death. They're running away from AB, who didn't have enough vision, who didn't use the momentum when they had a little bit Anonymo split and separated. But right now, maybe it's going to be the moment for them. They cannot really jump into the pit anymore. Can they do something else?
They're looking to try at the very least. Nerriman hops over the wall with a flash. Yellow sparks are there, and Severa uses the Heartbreaker. Obit Anonymo are respecting their opponents at this point. They know that AB can outfight them. And that means that they know that they cannot risk it. They cannot wing it. Now Prime, Chaos, or rather the magnetic pole has been dropped down exactly where you wanted so that nobody can come through. Obit Anonymo trying to defend a little bit of their land. A lot of wards. You need to clear them off, but you won't be able to. One will stand. Baron has been started. Going down relatively slow.
Money!
With the Pop Blossom, only onto Chipsy. Chipsy knocked up in the air and will be brought down as well in the seconds. Knocked up with the ground entrance. It was a good one with the Predator Instinct, but they're still standing. Svens might be in so much trouble, but he hops out of the way of the Featherstorm. Still dead. Narrowman is alive. That magnetic pull was brilliant from Royson. Will allow him to do something more. Severo hops onto Matix. The resets have been found! Friago, you do not grant him the resets. As Addy looking to kill, and he will find one. The Predator Instinct has kicked in. But he's alone versus everyone. No flash, no smite, nothing against Prime, against Severa, against Snaramin. Can he do it? Can he steal away the Baron? Alone versus the world. Parry coming in through. Isolated target. Goldrinker, that's a shutdown. Addy, can he do it versus Snaramin? No! Heartbreaker is going to break the heart of Addy. It was a really hard fight for everyone involved, but it's Obit Anonymo that stand tall.
Quite possibly that was not just his heart, maybe it was the heart of Alior Bank as the team, because that was a very devastating situation for them and a very grand wake-up call for this game, because they had been in control of the game up until this fight at the Baron. They didn't take it as they should have, because the idea in the very beginning was very nice, and I hope when we get the replay we see it from the very beginning as it started, because Obit Anonymo are approaching in, they are still playing from behind. Remember that they're still in a very grand gold deficit when they come into the fight, but right now, by the way, yeah, it's no longer the case. Finally, Anonymo have the gold. Okay, yeah, let's see here. Madi is sitting in a perfect position because he's hiding there. He is concealed, but then he only catches one, as you said. This is the moment where Anonymo are split up, but Alior don't really push and punish them for that necessarily hard enough. Madi is really far away from everybody because he got quite a lot of beating and he doesn't have the ultimate anymore. Nermin lives for the longest time possible. There was an attempt to take him down as early in the fight as possible, but he lived, he kept his ultimate up until the very end, and Prem has been alive all this time as well, and things just don't work for Alior whatsoever. They get some very good kills, they get some really good isolated kills here. Prime just getting out of the pit to go and become the isolated target was an unfortunate event, but by the end of the day, Anonymo get the Baron, they get the kills, they get some really good shutouts, and look at how far they are on the map all of a sudden.
Can they close it out? Hook coming in through onto Manu with the depth charge, but it was a clone. So we go rather wide here. Minimagic onto the flank position, looking for a knock-up. Teleport coming in through. Matix is about to arrive. He's leaving Prime alone. They're trying to capitalize on that. Svens is here. Matix is here as well. Minimagic takes a bit of the damage into his face. Roizen firing away. Xante forced out. Chipsy on the chase still. Can be rooted here for a second. Teleport coming in through. It's Prime who's about to arrive into the back lane, into the enemies. Gypsy's throwing himself into the fight. Minimagic is get Predator's instinct will grant him into the fight. Manny is dead, and that might have been the fight for Anonymo as they're chasing down their enemies. Severe is here. Xante with an all-out arriving Prime right into the midst of his teammates, but they won't be able to close this out. Bot lane turret is about to fall. 35 seconds on the clock before Manny is going to reappear on the map. Will Anonymo push for more?
Anonymo are back on their high horse, DrBrilmann. They're back and they're riding it all the way to the enemy base and all the way to that trophy that is waiting for them on the stage right now. Look at them cutting through this turret. They have everybody, all four members of their team are cutting through it right now. Prime is, of course, on the sideline again, but Adi is looking for a way to go in. Everybody's so low health.
He might be.
So juicy.
It's really fast. Hops over, slows them down, tries to buy time.
Can he?
Still running with the Oracle lens. Might be looking for another slow. Here comes Minimagic. They're still trying to chase them out. Has the flash. Has the ground entrance. Might be looking for a way to go in. They were waiting for Manny. Might be looking for more. Chipsy in a bit of a trouble. Forced all the way to their first broken turret. And in the meantime, Prime split pushing the top lane.
Speaking of the broken turrets, right, on the top lane, there was Manny trying to stop him, but it's really hard to stop Prime at this moment already. He's sitting on 3 custom items. 3 items, Fiora. How do you even stop her? The answer is you don't. That's it. Full stop. You need to refocus your attention somewhere else. Yeah, on the hull breaker, on the split, lane on the split pushing duties. That is the Prime that we see quite often. So quite often through like a split on Severe. There's a Drake alive. It's high time to fight.
And it's a soul point for Anonymo. They're not looking to give away that soul. Might be very beneficial for them. Axis doesn't have the teleport. That means he has to walk. And Prime is already there in the fight. It's going to be a close one. If AB want to stand, if they want to have a chance to fight for the trophy, then they need to make sure that they can still be standing. Prime onto Minimagic trying to force him away. And Erin is now in the boat. Okay, triple bomb blossom! Manny, can you do it? All out onto Roizen. They're shutting them down. Naramin is dead. Left charge was so good, and the resets have been found. It's a very even fight, but someone has to stand tall. And by the looks of it, it's not going to be AB, but Mahadi is full HP, still trying to go for more. It's 2 versus Suna. Heartbreakers healing himself up. Manny is there. They have found it. And Gypsy goes gold, and Severe found all the reset he wanted. Still a very hard target. Heartbreaker through. Manny stunned, so much damage onto him. It's a double. Anonymo again, standing tall after a very hard-fought fight.
They did it again. You don't fight the best team fighting team in Ultraliga, say Anonymo. The beginning of the fight didn't look good for them, however, because the damage on Alior Bank's side is absolutely insane. Look at this graph. Look at the damage from Money. I said in the beginning of the game that Nico doesn't necessarily deal too much damage. This Nico does. This Nico has 3 completed items already by this point, I believe, and she does a lot with a Pop Blossom. But in the end, it was Anonymo who were better team fighting, better individually. They take everything except for the dragon, because it was still Adi who took the dragon.
Yeah, he managed to sneak it away. But now, another Smite War is about to begin. 40 seconds, a bit less than that, before the Baron's going to appear. And it's to fight. It's basically the time for the ultimate showdown, because if AB steal that Baron away, they might be able to live through. They might be able to force to go into game number 4 and try to fight for the trophy. If not, Orbit Anonymo will have all their cards on their hands to push for the victory.
We're already past 30th minute mark. This is the longest game we had in the series so far. Oh, Manny's a little minion! Manny's a little minion! Not anymore! Oh, he doesn't find anybody. He's not dealing damage to Severi though right now.
Not too much, not as of yet at the very least. Now both of them are here, Prime and Matix on the bot side of the map, trying to have a fight for it. By the looks of it, the bot lane turret has been sieged, and yes indeed it is. Not even the turret, an inhibitor rather. It's already falling too. And AB make the tough call. They call for the Baron.
If Matix falls right now, this is going to be game over for Alior team.
Definitely.
But they're making the call. This might just be the last call to make.
Matix is tanky, trying to survive. Baron is falling, 3,000. Severe is here with the Pop Blossom. Can go over the Heartbreaker, but he doesn't steal it. And now the fight has commencing. The root coming in through. They got Manny. And that might have been the end of it. Look at Matix still trying to stay alive as the entire team fight is not going their way. Can they do it? That's the biggest problem. They need to hang on. Minimatic returns back to the base. Svens is there too. And Orbit Anonymo pushing in through. They are wanting to try to break down the entire base of the enemy to make sure that they can't put any use to that Baron buff. But they might be looking to try to close out the game. Minimatic pretty much sacrifices his soul, his body and his life. But he's AD carry. Another inhibitor force. 20 seconds before Manny returns and 20 seconds before Addy returns back to life.
Oh, Matix, you have to tank out everything flying your way. Svens,
Can
you have to deal with damage. No, you cannot.
He already fallen, and Svens is alone. And in that spectacular fashion, in that spectacular fight, AB will go down, and we will crown the new champions of Ultraliga Season 10. Ladies and gentlemen, in a dominant fashion I present to you Orbit Anonymo Esports.
The kings of 10th season of Samsung Galaxy Ultraliga. Last play, they got very close as it gets to the trophy. They were fighting in the grand finals with zero tenacity, but couldn't close it and take the trophy. But right now, after kicking zero tenacity out of the competition, they're fighting with Alior team and are taking their first crown of Ultraliga.
It was a fight that will go down in histories. Outperforming your opponent on every possible line of defense. Orbit Anonymo have proven to us that they are sending a message to be heard all across Europe. We are coming to EMEA Masters with that trophy, and we are not going away without a good fight for the EMEA Masters trophies as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Royson, the MVP of the regular season, lifting the trophy. His team is doing the same with him. This is the happy moment for everybody on the side of Orbit and Anonymo. Both of these teams had a really good fight today. Both of them are still going to keep fighting because they're going to the EMEA Masters, both of them. But this is the moment for Orbit and Anonymo to be victorious, and we wholeheartedly congratulate them.
The coaching staff has joined the team to lift up the trophy. It is a well-deserved one at its finest as they take the last bow. What a performance! What a performance from a team that just proven to us that beating Zero Tenacity wasn't a mistake.
Yeah, it wasn't just a one-time occasion. It wasn't also because Zero Tenacity, were not in the shape or something happened to them. It was because Orbit and Anonymo were a better team than Zero Tenacity, and then Alior team, and then everybody in Ultraliga.
A fantastic performance just through and through. And now my question lies, how are they going to approach EMEA Masters? What are they going to do there? Because it was good. Definitely so. Their team fighting capabilities are unbelievable. But we saw in game number 3 that things can go out of control. They managed to return control into the hands. That's definitely true. But will they be able to do that on an international stage? Fighting against perhaps the best teams in Europe on the area level. We're talking about LFL. We're talking about LVP as well. I am really interested to see how the path of Orbit Anonymo are going to continue, especially on the EMEA Masters.
I think the point was really well delivered in this last game. Orbit and Anonymo are not just the team who take the early game in their hands and then snowball all the way to the late game. They can play regardless of how the early goes for them. They can play regardless of how bad or difficult the game looks for them. And I think this is the real display of a really good team, experienced, well played, just good on all levels team. When they can play regardless of how good or bad the situation is. When they can adapt and overcome and improvise quite literally in every single game over and over.
I really am wondering, what is the new sort of high peak for them? In a certain way of it? Because what we've seen is a really top-notch performance, especially when it comes to team fighting. This is something that we've been praising the entire finals. We've been praising it for the entire playoffs. We've been praising it for the entire regular split. Everything has been there, just from Orbit's Anonymous, point of view, that we are the best team fighters. We're here to prove it. We're here to show it. They've shown it to us even here in the grand final. 0-3, clean victory.
Yeah.
But what is the new peak? What you need to do in order to perform even better and perhaps get the EMEA Masters title?
That's a good question. And it's the one that I cannot give you an answer to. I don't think you were necessarily waiting for it. Were you waiting for an answer for me?
I mean, you can.
Oh, I don't really have an answer to you, but I think that the time is going to deliver an answer to you. Because right now, them going into the EMEA Masters, as you rightfully said, is going to be the next challenge for them. It is the next step for Orbit and Anonymo. This is going to be the moment for them to show to us what is the next high for this team and what else they can improve on the Summoner's Rift.
Absolutely. So yet again, we congratulate Orbit Anonymo on stealing this trophy in such a spectacular fashion.
Stealing?
They stole our hearts and they stole the show.
True. Oh, that's true, yes.
And they stole the trophy with it together.
They took it with their hands like it belonged to them.
Just imagine, the hand just going, excuse me? That is mine.
Exactly.
I am going to take it.
Exactly.
Let's take a last peek at the studio before we are going to be able to say goodbye to you, as we will see Orbit Anonymo yet again. The Kings of Ultraliga. I genuinely can't believe this.
I can't either. This is their first trophy, though. Not just as Orbit Anonymo, but as this team. This is their first trophy of Ultraliga.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for the grand finals of Samsung Galaxy Season 10 of Ultraliga. It's been a spectacular show and it's been an absolute pleasure. As always, my name is DrBrilmann. I was joined here by Solari. Thank you very much, and we will see you in the next season. Oh, I'm getting a word from the production.
We have some more stuff from the last game.
Okay.
Stay here. Stay here. Come back.
Come back. Lady, guys, we're not saying goodbye yet.
Hey, you. Sit back. We're not done yet.
Do you have some tea? If not, refill it or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have the time to do that. Okay, so we're going to have highlights.
Yes.
We're going to have an interview.
Oh, yeah.
In English.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Maybe not. We'll
Hopefully.
see. But apparently we're hoping for the English interview. That's actually very good, because we might hear a few. I would love to hear from Kwon.
Yes, actually.
From the coach.
It's always really interesting and refreshing to hear the perspective of the coaching staff whenever we get them for the interviews to see how they view the game, because they're not the ones playing, so they have to have a little bit of view from ahead, just like us, but it's a different view because it's a coach of the team.
And what also just brings you to a new perspective is, I'd like to hear the psychology of the coach and the way he's working with the psychology of the team, because right now I can imagine that Orbit Anonymo in such of a morale boost that getting ready for that EMEA Masters fight, it should be, I don't want to say a bit easier for them, but a little bit more playfully in a certain way.
Yeah, not easy. I wouldn't say it's easier. It's going to be a hard one, and they really need to do their best to prepare. They have probably assured to us that they are a good team when it comes to preparing to the bigger games, to the harder games ahead of them. But right now, definitely have to agree with you. The morale boost absolutely has to be there for the team, because especially after this last game, it wasn't an easy one to win. They were losing quite a lot on the map. The top lane wasn't working out for them. The mid lane was heavily underperforming compared to Money. But then they got everything back in their hands, because this is still the team that loves team fights, that wants to team fight, and is really good at team fighting.
Absolutely so. I want to see the team also to show us a little bit of a different sort of League of Legends.
Oh, yeah.
I also would love to see this this team to be slow, methodical, with a very precise macro and micro, whatever.
Micro. Yeah.
Macro. Microwave.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Anyway, I would love to see that from the team as well,
Yeah.
because I think that if you can balance these two things out, there's pretty much nothing that can surprise you.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, nothing can surprise you anymore. But for Orbit and Anonymo, still quite a lot of things could surprise them, because going into EMEA Masters right now is going to be their top priority. Again, Alior are still going there as well. Let's not forget about that. We're sending two best teams of Ultraliga to EMEA Masters to represent Ultraliga. And Alior are going to be the second one, and also rightfully so. They have deserved their second place at EMEA Masters and their second place of Ultraliga. This was a tough split for them. They went through a lot. The expectations for them were over the roof in the beginning of the season. Then some people were feeling like the team underperformed in the beginning of the regular split, in the mid of it, but then the team bounced back, and oh my god, and the way they bounced back was spectacular.
Exactly. I feel like this split cannot be determined as bad for Alior Bank.
It was hard, but not bad.
And not even unsatisfying. Yes, I know they've lost in the grand finals and they lost in a 3-0.
Yeah.
Yes, but you've been fighting a war on two fronts, because you've been doing two different splits at the same time. You have shown us that you can bring down the giant of the split. Yeah. You've brought down Zero Tenacity in the regular split, even, I believe, if I recall correctly as well.
Oh,
correct me on that if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that our viewers will remember that way better than I will. So please do correct me if I'm wrong. But if I recall correctly, in the regular season, in the regular split, AB managed to bring down Zero Tenacity. With that being said, I feel like they have accomplished huge heights in this season. And if they manage to maintain this momentum and go even stronger, not just to the EMEA Masters, but into the next split, that's when things are going to be so good for them.
I can't wait to see what the future holds for this team. But let's have a very quick look back at the past for them, because the path for both of the teams was really a long one, with Alior starting all the way from round 1, going against just the Iron Wolves. I'm making this mistake as well. But then both of these teams had to go.
It's not a mistake.
Okay, fine.
It's meant to be.
Okay, fine, if you say so. But then they also had to go through the Maturalni Forsaken, and then both of these teams collided with Zero Tenacity, kicked them out. The losers bracket kicked them out of the game completely, and then clashed in the finals. But look at the predictions. Nobody predicted production! Oh my god, you're smurfing today, production. Congratulations, you won this one, the 3-0 for Alior Bank team. This W goes in your pockets.
That is one of the most cheekiest wins I've ever seen in my entire life. I can understand Anonymo. Okay, very well. But the 3-0.
Yeah.
Who could have thought?
Production could have thought.
They were reading the script, okay?
But the winner in the end is
Sylvan.
Sullivan, still 73 points.
The fake one,
Sylvan!
just a tiny, just 1 point,
Oh,
and the
so
fake one would
close.
have made it.
Oh, so close. But Sylvan
so
still
far.
yeah, that's true. But Sylvan, congratulations, you won. The predictions were in this plate, and that was a good word, to be honest. I am not even remotely close. You're not even here, so well.
I mean, we can congratulate Sylvan on getting that, because I'm still pretty sure that, first of all, production had the script. There's no other explanation how they were able to pick that all up.
Okay.
Production had the script. Just
I mean,
in
they're
front of
production
them.
for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were productioning the 3-1 over the 3-0.
Production.
Producing.
Producing.
Productivity.
You're losing me there, mate.
I'm losing myself there, mate.
Yeah, I see.
And the other thing is, I mean, honestly, again, I don't know who would have expected a 3-0.
Yeah.
Because all of us have voted for the 3-2 after the performance that we've seen from from Alior Bank team in the game against Zero Tenacity. I was pretty sure that this even might be a 3-1 towards Alior Bank. We have been talking about that in the behind the scenes, but I guess also the experience kicked in, because for those of you who don't know, for Matix, the top laner of Alior Bank team, it's been the first LAN tournament for him.
The very first. And he's very young. He's 17 years old. Can you imagine how much
16,
stress
17.
that is for a person? And he's playing against one of the best top laners in Ultraliga and possibly in Europe. That is a lot of stress for the guy.
I mean, if I was him, I would have been pretty nervous coming into this matchup. Very much. With that being said, well, I have to say, again, congratulations to Orbit Anonymo, because in that spectacular fashion, I did not expect this series to go. I think that something is slowly but surely is brewing in the studio, so we should be getting an interview in the closest time possible. And this is going to ask what I'm going to ask you to before we're going to jump into the interview. What do you want to see from AB to improve before they jump into the EMEA?
Well, definitely one of the things is their team fighting, because they couldn't stand against the best team fighting team in Ultraliga, but that was a good practice for them to see what mistakes they could try to work on. But also, I still need to see more strategies from them coming into the Rift. I want them to be more flexible with their drafts and have more straightforward approach when it comes to the game. Like, you come into the draft with an idea, you polish out the idea in the draft, but then you also need to execute it. If you're picking a lot of poke, play around your poke in the fights, in the game itself. So that's something, stability maybe is going to be the word that I want to see from AB.
I feel like we got a little bit of a drawback in a general to AB from the beginning of the season.
A little bit.
Inconsistency and instability that have led them to the point of which they could not. I feel like I'm citing Sanzu's, Art of War, something like that right now. The inconsistency and instability that have led them to the point in which they found themselves in today.
That's
deep.
That's deep.
This is Uncle Iroh type of wisdom. Laying on you
a
right
little
now.
bit, a little bit.
But to be frank, no, honestly, Manny and Svens have had a fantastic series. Both of them have played incredibly. But I thought that we haven't seen that same level of consistency that we know, and that same level of play that we know from Addy and from Minimagic.
Unfortunately. That still means that they have more to show to us, and we will be looking forward to their performance in the EMEA Masters. But today was a tough one for them. It was a really tough challenge to take and a really hard opponent to try to take down. In the end, second place is still a good thing. It's not like we are saying, hey, Alior completely lost everything and they did bad. No, they did really well. They deserved their second place fully. They tried to contest the first place in the end of it. They couldn't get it, but they still tried to do it, and that is what matters.
They still went slicing through the playoffs.
Yes.
They have managed to knock out Iron Wolves in 3-0. 3-1 then was the case versus Maturalni Forsaken. And 3-1 was the case with Tenacity.
Yeah.
So with that being said, now it is time to go to the interview. Let's get to the main studio. Oh, actually, just give me a second. Before we go to the interview, it's time to say goodbye. Now
for real this time?
For real.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here today. It's been an explosive and quite an emotional grand final as well. My name is DrBrilmann. I was joined here by Solari. As you have heard it many, many times, we will see you here again on Polsat Games 2 and in Ultraliga. Cheers, guys. Have a good night.
Raz jeszcze wielka wrzawa dla naszych mistrzów. No, po naszej prawej stronie stoi Chipsy wraz z Roysonem. Oni już w swoich rękach dzierżą nagrodę, ale ja również mam statuetkę dla najbardziej wartościowego zawodnika tego finału i to jest Savero! Savero, this is for you. Go ahead. Savero, today for your performance, you are awarded an MVP because this was really impressive. And I've got to start with the question, where was this guy all along? Because for the longest time during the regular season, we've seen you on Maokai, Sejuani, Ivai, and today in this 3-0, Rumble twice, and this Viego for the MVP. How are you feeling?
And for sure, I'm feeling really good. I'm also a bit surprised that I got MVP because I think it's really hard to decide this game. Because this series, because we all played really good, I think. But yeah, we're happy. But about the picks, I think it's really about the meta changing. And I think for this series, Rumble is also really good for us. And yeah, that's for.
Well, today you faced Adi, one of the players who also prefers to play this aggressive kind of style of jungling. How did you feel going into this matchup, knowing that Adi might be a challenge, but in the end, you really came out on top?
I mean, I think the playstyle Alior Bank jungler has is sometimes not that consistent because if he's not able to get ahead in first, let's say about 7 minutes, I think it's for him really hard to play. And we knew that if nothing will happen first 10 minutes and we will be even, we will pretty much win every game. So yeah.
Savero, please tell me, after the final, because today you were missing 2 players, they weren't present with you in the studio. So how did it feel as a jungler to play around all your lanes? Was it really the difference, or did everything go according to the plan, like always, like usual when you're playing from the comforts of your home?
I mean, I think it might have been also a bit of advantage for us, because for some players it's good to play on LAN, but for some players it's also a lot of pressure. But I think it wouldn't make a lot of difference in this series.
Okay, one last thing, Savero, before I give the voice to Aga. Would you like to say anything to your fans, to your supporters, to your family, like the usual after every win in Ultraliga regular season? If you wish to do it, now the mic is yours.
Yeah, I would like to thanks all our fans, also from Twitch chat and from here. We could for sure hear today. I want to thank our sponsors, our staff, and every player. And I also want to give shout out to my parents who are watching and supporting me. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Jiri. Once more, congrats. Once more, give it up. Jestem pewien, że Savero moglibyśmy rozmawiać jeszcze długie godziny, ale Aga, obok ciebie też 2 mistrzów.
It wasn't the shortest interview in my life. Would you like to translate maybe? Może Nie, to był żart, drodzy widzowie, kochani. Już po prostu ciężar nagród, no, są dobre, żeliwne, stalowe nagrody. Ale lżejsze się nie robią. Przechodząc do was, switch into Polish oczywiście. Moi drodzy panowie, tutaj pewnie parę słów się powtórzy z waszym MVP. Rozumiem, że się cieszycie, że na najbliższy czas bucket lista odhaczona, ale chyba już na horyzoncie pojawiają się nowe wyzwania. Już chwilę mieliśmy okazję po tym porozmawiać. Następne cele.
Tak, bardzo się cieszymy. W końcu udało się wygrać. Ja jestem bardzo zadowolony. Wiadomo, były wzloty i upadki w tej serii, ale 3-0 tak jak zapowiadaliśmy. No i co, teraz patrzymy przed siebie na EMEA Masters. Myślę, że pokażemy się tam dobrze.
Mam nadzieję, że kiedyś się tam zobaczymy razem. Mój drogi, czy masz najfajniejszy, poza oczywiście wzniesieniem pucharu i poza zniesieniem trofeum i tym wielkim finałem, momenty, które wspominasz w ciągu całego sezonu dobrze oraz te, które być może faktycznie gdzieś tam zabiły ci ćwieka i myślisz, że mogło ci pójść lepiej, albo mieliście momenty zwątpienia?
No na pewno najlepszym momentem było wygranie 5. gry na Zero Tenacity, bo było bardzo zabawne i śmieszne zakończenie. A najgorszym, no, nie było jakiegoś bardzo złego momentu. Dobrze sobie radzimy z drużyną. Dobrą atmosferę mamy w drużynie, więc nie ma jakichś wielkich problemów. Tylko tam pojedyncze po prostu przegrane w regular sezonie to powiedzmy, że najgorszy moment dla mnie.
A stwierdziliście, bo jest takie wideo z wywiadami z waszymi włodarzami, którzy no dosyć buńczucznie wypowiadają się o tym, jak to teraz pójdzie gładko i po maśle, dlatego że właśnie Z10 już nie ma. Czy to pokrywa się też z tym, jak wy nastawialiście się przed tym finałowym pojedynkiem?
Myślę, że trochę tak. Byliśmy bardzo pewni siebie, ale wiadomo, to też jest seria na lanie. Na lanie zawsze poziom jest trochę niższy, więcej pomyłek, bo ludzie są zestresowani, więc wszystko się może wydarzyć. Ale tak, byliśmy pewni, że wygramy. Idzie nam bardzo dobrze na treningach, na silne drużyny europejskie, więc tak, jesteśmy zadowoleni z wyniku. Mniej więcej tak się spodziewaliśmy. Może ta trzecia gra taka średnia, ale było okej.
Trzeba być pewnym siebie. Panowie, to tak na koniec. Jeżeli chcecie kogoś pozdrowić, jeżeli chcecie komuś powiedzieć, hej, mamo, tato, koleżanko, kolego, jednak nie, kłamie, tak naprawdę tutaj będziemy mówić. To jest wasz moment na pozdrowienia, podziękowania, pomachanie w stronę kibiców, publiczności.
No to ja powiedzmy pierwszy. Najpierw dla rodzinki oglądającej online i na żywo niektórych. Oczywiście Twitch chat, bo zawsze jest śmieszny i dla całej produkcji.
Tak, ja też pozdrawiam całą rodzinę, która kibicuje. Dziękuję za całe wsparcie na social media i na żywo. Bardzo miło było mi grać ten split, dużo dostałem od was wsparcia. No i mam nadzieję, że nawet nie zawiedziemy was na MMA Masters.
Panowie. Jeszcze raz. Bardzo serdecznie wam gratuluję. Moment dla publiczności.
Naprawdę potrafią zrobić hałas, ale mam wrażenie, że to są te obietnice związane z MMA Masters. Panowie, my będziemy trzymali kciuki i naprawdę chcemy zobaczyć ten sukces polskiej ekipy dalej w turnieju europejskim. Naturalnie będziemy też liczyć na Alior Bank Team, w końcu oni nas też również będą reprezentowali na turnieju MMA Masters, ale dzisiaj zwycięzcami mogła być tylko jedna ekipa. Raz jeszcze gratulacje, ale wszystko co dobre zmierza ku końcowi.
Niestety.
Tak samo jak i ten finał, jak i ten sezon.
Chyli się ku końcowi, więc czas na co? Na podziękowania. No i przede wszystkim chcielibyśmy podziękować wam, drodzy widzowie, tutaj zgromadzeni w studiu, bo robiliście świetną robotę. Ale też rzecz jasna wam, ci, którzy przed monitorami, przed telefonami, przed telewizorami kibicowaliście nie tylko podczas wielkiego finału, ale także podczas całego sezonu. Byliście z nami, kibicowaliście, to wsparcie było aż czuć po tej stronie ekranu. Chcielibyśmy podziękować organizatorom i sponsorom. Rzecz jasna, mam nadzieję, że widzimy się już niebawem. Zresztą nie zapomnijmy też o oficjalnym watch party w lokalu Chaos, zwanym też H40S. O, proszę bardzo. Nie zapomniałam, obiecałam. Ulica Marszałkowska. Być może tak, właśnie. Panowie, mam nadzieję, że się wybieracie, czy nie? No, zobaczymy, różnie mówią. I ja tobie, Tomku, bardzo dziękuję. Bardzo miło mi się z tobą współprowadziło. I to chyba już czas pożegnań ostatecznych.
Dokładnie. Na sezon 10 czas nadszedł, więc dziękujemy raz jeszcze i do zobaczenia w kolejnych rozgrywkach. Ale teraz to wszystko z naszej strony. Trzymajcie się!
Jak w familiadzie teraz.
You either can get down and lay down in sometime wherever we go. We rock and re-roll. The people that way down the playground, we poppin', just look at our glow. Baby, we all in the game. Lately we all on the chain. Crazy, we fall from the plane. But they still calling our name. Straight from the bottom, we started with. Now we're becoming the parliament. We came and we saw and we conquered it. Now we welcome you to our conglomerate.
Wow.
Wait, is that a phone? Look at the performance, the graphics. That thing's a gaming machine. A new challenger. Is that Faker? That man's a gaming legend. Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. And here we go!
I always play jungle.
I am top.
I am mid lane.
I play bot, AD carry.
I am support. No matter your position, stay true to your lane and join Kia at the League of Legends EMEA Championship.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
I get what? I get dough, I get cheese, I get moolah, I get green, I get money, money, money. You can check out my receipts. I get bread, I get vitamins, I get chips in the cream. I get money, money, money. Paper like it grow on trees. I get dough, I get cheese, I get moolah, I get green, I get money, money, money. You can check out my receipts. I get bread, I get vitamins, I get chips in the cream. I get money, money, money. Paper like it grow on trees. Yeah, I get bread, I get bank, I get money, I get big C notes, that's them big head hundreds. Grinding every day, I got this drip dead on me. Watch me pull up in that whip, I thought a trick said something. They don't got them funds, they don't got that bag. They can't have no fun, they ain't got them rags. They ain't got the ones, they don't got no stacks. They be all up in my comments, oh I make them so mad. I get dough, I get cheese, I get moolah, I get green, I get money, money, money. You can check out my receipts. I get bread, I get vitamins, I get chips in the cream. I get money, money, money. Paper like it grow on trees. I get dough, I get cheese, I get moolah, I get green. I get money, money, money. You can check out my receipts. I get bread, I get vitamins, I get chips in the cream. I get money, money, money. Paper like it grow on trees. I get Benjamins, I get real bucks. Pay my critics none, they some real ducks. I get capital, they looking real stuck. They getting chump change, they out of real luck. Please don't step out your element. All of that talking you doing is irrelevant. Look like the type that brag on the settlement. Why I'm just killing time making their president. Really don't care what the faker is telling me. As long as he peeping the pedigree, boy I get riches and this is the evidence. Money so tall like you're standing to elephants. I get dough, I get cheese, I get moolah, I get green. I get money, money, money. You can check out my receipts. I get bread, I get vitamins, I get chips in the cream. I get money, money, money. Paper like it grow on trees. I get dough, I get cheese, I